now and then when I feel a bit buggy, I look at the floor, man, and need a new ruggy. Scratch out, get some pills and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some more man huggy. Oh, man huggy. Some more man huggy. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
Recording in progress.
What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy, Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Big Choo-Choo. And who am I with, as always? Joseph Huggie, aka Old Man Huggie. Talk shit or get off the pod, episode 166. Tick-tock goes the clock.
Don't stop, pick it up, Peter, turn the speakers up tonight. Out of sight, to see the sunlight.
Hey, Xi Jinping, you're about to lose your crown jewel. TikTok, better sell it.
Is that? Sorry, I had to.
What's going on?
Is that the crown jewel? I always thought fireworks, silk.
No, well, I like crown jewel of like their technology
In the grand scheme of history,
and propaganda.
Though,
Well, it depends. I don't know.
Look,
I don't know. It depends how much the Chinese Communist Party's thumb on the scale of the TikTok algorithm is having like direct effects on the American population. That, you know, in real time is hard to know, but maybe we'll know decades from now. Depending on that, man, maybe, I don't know. Like I don't know who fucking said it, but it was like no outside enemy's gonna defeat the United States. The biggest, you know, threat that we have is like from imploding like within, like ourselves. And I feel like that's what TikTok is positioned to do.
well, there's this old interview. Not to get too far off topic. And what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. This old Russian Spetsnaz, Kremlin, KGB fluffer nut is up there talking about how he's like, oh, like our plan is to destroy America from within, get them to distrust their own government, strike against what are their norms and just erode them from within, and have them seek out our ideology as an alternative to what they think is worse, when in reality it's not. Basically like a big psyop, which is like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what we do to everybody else, so it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it because I know exactly. That's a topic.
But if we had TikTok and it was in China and China had half of its entire population on it, you don't think that like we would be like pumping like pro-American propaganda or anti-Chinese shit, like just like Tiananmen Square like all damn day?
Yeah. It would just like a whole page of just like Asian attacks. And you're like, what? This is crazy. And it'd be like Asians of TikTok. Not libs of TikTok. Asians of TikTok.
Yeah, I mean like.
Or it'd be commies of TikTok. It'd be like, commies of TikTok. Or Labor Party of TikTok. Or whatever. What's the other party? The People's Party? That doesn't exist. They don't have one. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Ooh, China?
Yeah.
Well, the country's called the People's Republic of China, the PRC.
No,
There you
I'm
go.
thinking. I'm thinking.
And then there's the People's Liberation Army is what their army's called.
I'm thinking of what is it? Taiwan that has
No,
like their own. It's like separate, but they don't have a say in anything. But it's called something different, like their government. That's not a government. That's a government. Do you know what I'm talking about?
well they call it like with Hong Kong they were calling it like one country two systems or something.
Yeah, I
And
think.
but with Taiwan, I don't know. Taiwan is just called like it's called like China. Like their actual
Well, I
their
know. I
like
know.
proper like their real name is like it's the People's Republic of China is like the mainland of China, and then Taiwan has like an official name
Yeah.
that's like even more official than that. Because like the Chinese emperor at one point there was like a civil war, and the emperor like fled to Taiwan, and that was the beginning of like the separation of the two.
I'm just trying to think of what a more hardcore name would be. It's like the Iron Fist of the People's Republic of China.
No,
Like,
I'm saying more
oh,
official. Like it's like not some like throw in like three adjectives and then add China. It's like it's more like
China,
like,
China, China, China.
It was like yeah, they got the screen name before actual China did.
Hmm. Okay, and then it's like you want this, you got to buy the domain, dog. Don't stop, pick it up. Oh, that's the last thing I need in my head is Kesha.
Yeah, it's called the Republic of China.
Oh wow, that's very serious.
Yeah, not the People's Republic, just the Republic of China, bitch. And it actually is a republic and a democracy and thriving and robust economy. Shout out Taiwan. Our the newest country to start listening was Ukraine that we mentioned last week.
Well,
And I went to and looked at the list today, and so basically like they'll add like the newest one to the bottom of the list of all the countries that listen, except for then they start to adjust it based on how many people in that country are listening.
yeah.
So I went to go look at it, and like Ukraine was just off the bottom of the list, and I'm like, what? I was like, was that like a glitch when they said Ukraine was listening? And I'm like, oh wait, no. And I start scrolling up, and Ukraine's like moved way up the list, so. Like it's not just one person, bro.
Let's go, bro. We taking
Like,
over.
we out here in the trenches, out here with the dragon drones, dropping fire on you motherfucking ruble sporting commie pinko fuck Russian.
Do not talk shit about ruble. It is closer to ruby than American dollar, sound wise.
Maybe like the rupee, like in India,
Yeah.
but definitely not a ruby.
It is a goulash of two.
I think like a billion ruples is like $10 million.
I'll take it. Shit, I'll be a billion ruplenaire. That sounds weird. I hear ruple, I just think of Rupert, like the elephant.
Yeah, I mean, we're like 100xing their currency. I don't know if that's actually true. I'm sure we could look it up. But
It's possible. Any news from the gambling world?
yeah, I was actually just at the poker room right before we started recording. I wasn't even thinking, and I was like gonna enter. I got there like at 5, and they have a tournament at 6 o'clock, and I was like making like arrangements with my dog's my baby mama to like, pick up my dog. I'm like, hey, can I do it later? There's this tournament, and then like I'm like, wait a second, we're recording tonight, and so I text Jessica. I'm like, hey, we're good for tonight, and then I had to like text her. I was like, I'm an idiot. Like, we have to record. Like, I'll be picking her up at like 7:30.
Yeah.
But I played for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Bought in $100, tipped $12 to the dealer throughout the 1 hour 45 minutes, and cashed out $188. So basically, a clean little double up.
Nice. There you go. All right.
And like I was just thinking, like there should be a show, like Cheers, like the show Cheers, like show, but for a poker room like that, where you're like, it incorporates the people that work there, but also like the patrons. Like there's so much.
I have
fucking material.
I have like this crazy idea for something like that, which is similar, but it's like next level. It'd be it'd be epic if you could pull it off. And it's doable. It would just, you need like 2 or 3 people to run it, and you would need like a table and stuff. But yeah, you would have like mainstays, and then you would bring in different people. But it would be like, but like the forum wouldn't be like Poker Stars. It'd be like way more like laxed and way more like interesting, right? You could almost like, it's like Hot Ones, but playing poker.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm talking about like a scripted show.
Oh, or you could do that. That would be good. Like a scripted show, like a sitcom, like a television sitcom.
Yeah, and the setting is the poker room, like the poker, the casino, but like my type of casino was just poker,
like
blackjack.
a neighborhood room, and you'd have like the couple different dealers that are returning characters.
Right.
Each episode, you have a different dealer.
You have the whole staff that is characters, and then you have like the regulars, and then you have like and then you just always have a rando like to throw that shows up at the poker room. You know, if you ever need a story, like today at the table, there's this dude. The dude to my left, he is in a wheelchair. The dude to his left is from Nepal, and keeps on making these this weird laugh. He's like, exactly like that. Like when the deal will flip over a card, he's like, over and over again. I was like, God damn, dude, this is like extra creepy. To his left, British old dude just talking hella shit, super fun. To his left, a Russian asset female that is there all the time. Like she might not be Russian, she's probably like Albanian, but like working for the Russians.
Close enough where they might have gotten to you.
Oh, for sure. Oh, no, they definitely got to it, like for sure. Not, like, but you know, maybe she wasn't born in Moscow. Maybe it was like, you know, I don't know, Belarus. But
oh, that's there. I was like a Prigozhin ran military base.
Yeah, so I took 65 off of her. To her left, Sista, black chick, young, from Panama. I asked her if she was excited about the Orange God King coming for their canal. She just rolled her eyes. It was like, no. And and I was just like, I feel like that the poker room is like the most diverse place on the fucking planet, dude. There's just like all different countries, all different races, all different genders, like, and you know, the only thing that's the same is that they all like to give me their chips. Ooh.
Bam, bam, bam.
But yeah.
You want to get into therapy questions? Therapy question number 1. What qualities do you think make a good leader? We're seeing a lot of change in leadership, weird, strange forms of leadership, people who have zero leadership skills being appointed to leadership positions. Mr. Goody, Mr. Schultz, what do you think are good qualities for a leader?
So I would, one thing I was thinking about is like a leader who isn't going to tell you like what to do. Well, they might have to, like, you know, tell you, but they'll show you what to do. Like they're not like I had I talked about this, I think early on the podcast, where I had like managers when I was on the sales floor of this company, and like they would like explain to us like how they wanted us to be cold calling, except for the only thing was I never seen any of the managers ever fucking cold call anybody. So they have like all this like these tips and advice of how we should be doing our job, but they've never fucking done it. And that's bad leadership. So it's like I want somebody who is willing and also able to do the like whatever the bottom tier person is in the group. And then another thing I think is like building, like being positive, building up like the people like that you're leading,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, and like not like belittling or shitting on anybody, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Be like a positive, you know, influence or vibe.
I mean, I'm not gonna like to touch on those. Like, yeah, I mean, in my experience in leading groups of people, it's better if they've seen me do it. You always say I'd never ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do, and that they haven't already seen me do myself. So let's say I work at a baseball park and there's a clogged toilet. I could ask 15 people in like my concession stand, which this is not what I do for work, but this is just an example. I could go ask the bottom of the totem pole, like dishwasher guy or girl, be like, hey, go unclog this toilet. It's a gross, dirty job. Normally I would go put on gloves and I'd go do it myself because everybody else has something to do and I'm an extra set of hands. So rather than stopping somebody to do what they should be doing to go do something that I could easily go do myself, because then if at some point I'm too busy to go do it and I ask said person, they'd be like, most of the time they would volunteer to do it because they're like, well, the only reason he's asking me is because he can't, because he always does it. Rather than being like, up here we go, da, 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 da. People hate that shit, especially the younger. The younger you get, that's what some of these old heads don't realize is the younger you get in age groups. It's like if these people that work for you don't think you care about them, don't think you give a fuck about what they want out of their life, they're not gonna fucking work for you. Period. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to give a shit because they'll make less money because they're already like broke. Like they're more broke than we're broke at this point, right? So they could give two shits whether they're making 30 an hour or 35 an hour. They'll take 28 an hour if they don't work for an asshole. And when we were coming up in the workforce, it was like, asshole or not, you need this job, shut the fuck up. And that's the difference, is that doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, those are like those are really good ones. Like, yeah, absolutely. How you communicate or treat your staff and building them up. I always say give them the compliment sandwich. We all hear what we do wrong all the time. I'd rather tell you all the things you do correct, what I need you to correct, and then tell you what you do correct again, because you do a lot of shit right. You just did one thing wrong. This is what I need you to do to fix it, rather than be like, hey, you fucked up, don't do that again.
Yeah, you gotta be like the hype man.
Yeah, like no one gets.
But like also like guiding them in the right direction, not just like aimlessly like a parent where it's like, you know, my kid can do no wrong. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like, you know, hype people up, like, you know, like you're saying, like celebrate them, like, you know, like when they're doing like shit right, like just like clear communication. I think is like goes like a long way.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
no, definitely.
Like being like transparent and like open and just like stating like what you want the goals to be and like what you want to get done. You know, just like I don't know, just like I feel like that in itself, so that everybody's on the same page as far as like expectations and shit. Like that matters.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, expectations of yourself and others, and being transparent in those, and being clear in what your expectations are of yourself. We've all worked for people that we didn't like working for. I tried to pay attention to everything that I didn't like about those people, do the opposite of that, pay attention to the things that I did like about those people, and make sure that I double down on those things to be better at my job, right? But if you're not taking care of the people that are working for you, then like, what are you doing? You're just taking care of yourself, and that's not what leaders do. That's like the opposite of that. Go work in like, go be a freelance, whatever the fuck you are.
Go work at a Trump White House.
Yeah, right. But no, those are good ones. I would definitely say being human. I think a lot of times, in my experience, leaders have an issue, or anybody in any leadership position have issues with like being human with the people that work for them. Like giving examples of when you fucked up, when somebody else fucked up, and being honest and being like, I fucked up too. I guarantee you there'd be less illustriousness around like weed when we were younger if parents were like, I hit it once and it burned my throat. It's like, no, like you totally tried to sneak out of the house, go to Woodstock, got caught by grandpa. Like, you're lying, bro. Like, you're lying. You've definitely smoked more weed than that. You can't be honest with me about that. You can't be human right now and have a real human conversation, so I'm just disregarding what you have to say. Because it's like right? And it's the same in leadership. You have to be able, most of the time,
like build trust.
Exactly, because and that comes with conflict, that comes with honesty, that comes with being human. And so giving them real life examples or explaining where you've missed steps so they don't make those steps. You should be leading your people to be wiser, not like smart. smarter workers. You want them to be wiser because, smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. So you'd rather learn from my mistakes so you don't make them, because I'm still overcoming these things, or I'm still dealing with, they always think
the repercussions.
They always think that I'm late, or that's always a joke I hear, and I haven't been late in like 10 years at my job, but I was late for 2 weeks because my car broke down and I didn't call, and I still get shit for it at like the company luncheon. Like, so
That's not why they give you shit. It's because you're black.
Oh, yeah. But definitely being human, or some sort of humility and honesty about who you are, because we also do get, when you're in leadership, sometimes people like put you on a pedestal, or people put themselves on that, and in reality it's like the opposite. What do I say? I don't owe you, you don't owe me shit because I gave you people don't owe you anything because you give them a job. You owe them the opportunity to get the most out of this job because they chose to work for you. And there's a difference. Those mindsets are like left and right, and like, because I owe you everything because you work here. You don't owe me shit because you work for me. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I've worked for those people and I hate that crap. But definitely that. And the other one, I guess, would be just conflict. Being able to have difficult conversations, and communicate them effectively, not making it like personal, but actually having like a real conversation with somebody about something and their difficult topics, and knowing you're not always going to get the reaction you want, and they might not hear where you're coming from, but that's a part of leadership that's really difficult, is that like I would say like you are the scale that balances the room. Like, there's 2 Sith Lords, there's 2 Jedi Masters, and then there's a new. It's like you have to keep it level for it to be an even playing field for everybody, and that's not fun. Like, that's not, what is it in The Craft, where they're like, if the devil and God played a football game, Mano would be the football field that they played the game on. It's almost like you have to like be there.
What would be the football field?
They always talk about this like God that they always worship in, like Mano. That's the name of the thing that they speak to in that white girl 90s movie, The Craft. And there's a line from that where they're trying to explain what they worship is, and they were like, and that's the analogy she uses: if God and the devil played a football game, Mano would be the football field that they would play on. I was like, oh, that's some deep shit.
Idea.
But it's having those difficult conversations, embracing that conflict, is something that's like really, really important, that a lot of people shy away from, which they might be do this, check boxes, do all these things, but in reality, like, you're only doing like half of the work. It's like a cop writing a ticket, and then you never show up to court even when you know that you're right, and all your tickets just get dismissed. It's like, yeah, you're writing tickets, but your conviction percentage is 0. Maybe you show up for these traffic tickets and like present the evidence that these people are speeding, and maybe it would stick. You're not a good cop. You're good at writing tickets without following through.
Shout out.
That was a good question topic. It just like popped in my head. These ones actually came to me very quickly. Therapy question number 2. Context. We've seen tons of different conspiracies flying around. A lot of DEI, not diversity and equity and inclusion, but direct energy, or DEWs, direct energy weapons, or DEL, direct energy lasers. People need to paint their roofs blue because blue reflects or absorbs all of lasers, and it's not puncturable. So that's why the blue.
Is this the Jewish laser?
No. This is like this conspiracy popped up whenever there was the Maui fires. Like, how come this house with a blue roof didn't get burned?
That was China.
Who started that?
That rumor. Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. Well, now it's floating around with the fires in L.A. In the California fires, there's how the blue mailboxes aren't burned, and how come this blue car didn't catch fire in the street. It's like this stupid shit. But the therapy question is everything a conspiracy? Because I feel like it is at this point. You can make a conspiracy out of anything.
Okay, well, hold on. Like, is everything a conspiracy? So, like, I feel like that because the term conspiracy theory like is I don't know, like a whole like industry. Like people don't people don't like think about what the words are. Like conspiracy just means like what multiple more than one person is
two or more people can like
are working together to
accomplish a goal.
right. So is everything a conspiracy? I mean like I don't know. But like you mean is everything like a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, or yeah, just a conspiracy theory.
No, like I fucking hate that, dude. I like people are so stupid. Like uh, it's like
No, conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful.
Oh, there you go.
So,
no, not everything's a conspiracy, but humans like are drawn to conspiracy theories because it puts like a simple explanation on like random complicated events. Like like we don't want to believe that just like you know, like JFK could just get shot in the fucking head in Dallas, like by some rando. It's got to be like a plot.
I do think there's times where these conspiracy theories come because it's like, yeah, like soothing people's worries and tensions.
100%. That is what it is. It's like humans are like hardwired to like want to like know what's happening, and if it's like it was just random shit that you can't ever fucking it's like stop or have an effect on is like you're helpless. People don't like that, so they're like instead it's the fucking CIA.
No, I mean, and one of the biggest ones in World Trade Center. If you go back in time and you think about how many times you went to the airport and just walked straight up to the gate, like barely if any security, somebody would like pat you on the back and be like, yeah, get in there. Didn't even have to have a ticket, never checked your ID. You could just go to the airport and just fucking hang out. With what we know about the world, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. And when you go back in time and you look at how many planes were jacked, DB Cooper, people just like hijacking planes left and right. There was a whole
Okay, but the security TSA has stopped none of that.
Well,
Zero terrorist attacks.
Well, it's the shoe bomber. Well, actually, he was on the plane. He was on the plane, lighting his
bomb didn't go off.
Now they're like, take your shoes off. Everything's
now we all have to take our fucking shoes off because they didn't catch the fucking shoe bomber.
I do like when I fly out of Love Field in Southwest, and they'll be like, "Oh, you can leave your shoes on." Like, hurry up, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, ooh, this is interesting. But back in the day, it was like a free for all. But that conspiracy of people being like, could somebody just take a plane like that and do something like that, whether you believe it's true or not, whatever. People would rather believe the conspiracy that Nostradamus, like 2,000 years ago, talked about flying giant birds into fucking buildings. Like, this is like a part of their shit. Like when they're like, "Oh, who could have imagined that they like would fly planes into buildings?" It's like this motherfucker was telling you that they were gonna do that. Negrodamus.
Yeah, they were like pontificating out loud about flying planes into buildings, like for like a couple years leading up to that, and it was like, oh. Who could have known?
No, some of them are fun as someone who loves it. But no, I don't think everything needs to be a conspiracy theory. But we're reaching this point where, like, in the social marketplace of ideas, it's like that's what it's become.
Don't you think that it's like almost like an oxymoron? It's like if everything's a conspiracy theory, then nothing's a conspiracy theory, bro.
Well, yeah,
like if you're telling me just everything, like just like you're giving. This is what it is. People give way too much credit to other people and to authorities, and to it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Like the fact that you think that like you're just getting plotted on left and right at all times on a grand macro scale. And it's working, it's like, no, dude.
Because there's been all these Q drops, I guess Q's back, and there's all these conspiracies, and all this weird shit on Twitter. And when Trump tweets or says, they're like, look at these words that are capitalized. There was 30 Q drops that all had this word in it.
That's just meth. Why do I don't even get it. Like, that's just meth at this point, dude.
I don't understand it, man. It's weird. It's like, all right, get your decoder ring out from your Ovaltine and write down these numbers on the radio. 2, 7, 4.
When you're done taking apart that computer that you'll never put back together because your tweak will run out, listen to some QAnon.
Unless you're me, because then you put them together and they're beautiful.
Right, but this is like meth heads, dude. Like,
oh yeah, meth head couldn't do that. He'd be like, I could just strip it all for copper.
Exactly. He would take it all apart.
He'd be like, what can I get
perfectly? And then it would just never,
yeah.
ever.
No, it would work once when they put it back together and sold it to somebody, and then that was it. He'd take the power cord with him, and they'd be like, what the fuck, man? This shit doesn't work. You know how much copper's in a power cord? You think I'm going to give that to that man for free? No, I mean, it's just getting exhausting, and as somebody who, like, loves conspiracy theories, it's because they're just such interest. They're like better than fiction.
Don't you feel like it's the same people who feel like that the government is incompetent and dumb and can't get shit done are the same people that think that like the government is like this cabal running like the fucking world like on the sneak tip? Like pick one.
There are some that
it's like, is Biden a fucking criminal genius like getting money from the Chinese and Ukrainians, or is he like a
slow old
geriatric
man.
like octogenarian like with dementia? Like, he can't be both.
Yeah, you
Pick
can't.
one.
And if he's playing a role, impressive. That's like Ethan Hunt.
Right.
Ethan Hunt style,
and
like Mission Impossible.
That might be the kind of guy that I want to be president.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
pull that shit off.
That's closer to Putin than Donald Trump, honestly. But no, yeah, it just gets exhausting because everything becomes conspiracy theories for these people to try to explain things that either A, they don't like the facts that are being presented to them, therefore those can't be real, those are fake. I know the real facts and you don't. But there are times where, you know, they do become true. There's some interesting conspiracy theories that the more you delve into them, they're extremely interesting. Like I said, there's that movie, The Octopus, the documentary. It's on Netflix about this guy, law firm software. Someone stole it. It's a very interesting, compelling story. And this guy reported on it. And he was like, hey, this connects to like a lot of people who are involved in this shit. This dude wound up dead, supposedly killed himself, didn't. I used to talk about this octopus conspiracy when I was like 22. I was like, bro, this shit is crazy. And then a year ago, last year, within like 9 months, Netflix drops a documentary about it. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, and in that moment, while still a conspiracy theory, it had become so fact-checked that it was like, ooh, we should make a movie about this. And it's a very compelling documentary. And it was very, like, gratifying because I buy into that one.
Well, how do we convince a couple of, like, white millennial females to create a true crime type podcast, except for it's not true crime, it's finding out where specific conspiracy theories originated from. Like, I don't get, like, it's weird that like conspiracy theories take off, like where it's like one, like this one theory like will rise above the others, and then everybody, you know, like it gets like that, you know, whatever, like a following of people who believe that shit or whatever. Like, who created it in the first place? Who is it? Like, is it just like a random person every time that like has no affiliation with each other?
Imagine you know started that conspiracy, like a rumor or that
right,
conspiracy.
We have no idea
and no
any conspiracy theory. Like, why do we don't know like one like originator of a conspiracy theory? Like, it's so mysterious. Like we don't know who QAnon is. Like the United States government doesn't know who this fucking guy is. And how?
Well, I mean, like, I remember it's totally similar but way different. There was a rumor, conspiracy that someone that we went to school with was gay when we were in high school, wasn't gay, and nobody knew who started this rumor. Maybe like 3 years ago, I found out who it was. They told me, and I was stunned. I was like, you are the last motherfucker I thought would start that rumor or do that. And that...
Who was this? Is this about the QB?
No. This is someone else. It's somebody that played football, but it
That's
was
what I just said.
no, but it wasn't. No, you said QB, and I said no. It's not that person. It's
Oh,
someone
but it
else.
is somebody.
It's
Oh, okay.
someone who I played football with, and it was crazy because that person, like to this day, like still is like would want to know who started that. Like fucking hate was like, oh, if I ever found this person, I'd fucking murder. And that person was sitting right next to him the whole entire time, girl too. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Like it blew my mind. So imagine you started the rumor like, oh yeah, Marilyn Manson took out 2 of his ribs so he could suck his own dick. And someone
Richard
was like,
Gere's got a gerbil up his asshole.
and someone was like, what? No way. And then like, and next thing you know, we're talking about it at like the 6th grade lunch table. Like, yo,
That's a crazy one. That's a crazy one because like that's pre-internet based. Like I mean, the internet was here, but it wasn't like there was nowhere to find a fucking conspiracy theory on the internet. But,
yeah, it's like, you know, who
like maybe a chat room, but like not like like no websites or anything or social media. But everybody I knew that Marilyn Manson removed his ribs so that he could suck his own dick. How? Was it like Rolling Stone tell us this? Like
yeah, like where did like the right? That's just like that's a wild fucking story where you're like,
I remember thinking about that like more than like a little bit. That's so weird.
or being like, remember like Crazy Man's? Like you go out to Crazy Man's, the place, you know, that was just like a abandoned, rundown carnival. There's nothing scary about it at all, but there was like the bridge to get out it, and then so there's all this lore around Crazy Man's and wild shit that went out there. So by the time you got out there, you were freaked the fuck out, and where you are, totally private property. Not supposed to be there. The people who watch this private property. So for those of you who don't know, Crazy Man's, it's like this old rundown like 60s, 70s Renaissance fair that's like in the fucking woods now. But to get to it, you got to drive to the fucking sticks. Areas where I would not want to be driving with my windows down in the day as a black guy. And it's not that far from where we grew up. I don't like to do that where we grew up either. But you go out there, there's people who like have big plots of land and property, and there's people who like overlook, like own that property. There's like a cemetery right next to it, and they have like motion sensor lights before that was a thing. They had cameras on their house, so they would catch you and you would get riled up and scared because you'd be wandering around this fucking private property in the woods with flashlights and shit. Some crazy ass old man would pop out screaming at you, and they had an alarm. So if you tripped the alarm, it would let off like a wah wah wah, like a fucking horn, and you would like freak out, and this dude would come out and be screaming and yelling. That was half the fun. But imagine starting the idea, like stumbling across it and be like, I'm going to tell everybody that there's like a murderous cult that used to live out here, and they're still out here sometimes. You got to be careful. And then 30 years later, we're like, hey, let's go out into the fucking woods to that haunted Renaissance. Like that'd be, and to be like the old guy at fucking X's and O's in Town Square being like, I started that shit. And you couldn't tell anybody. No one would believe you.
You could don't say that because I want these conspiracy originators
To show themselves
Yes, like just one of them.
on some fucking I know what you did last summer type shit. Show yourself. What are you waiting for, huh? Like that, spinning in a circle. That'd be tight.
Yeah,
Like who's Q? We already think we know who Q is.
yeah,
He's a
like whatever the fuck about Q. I'm talking about
fucking moron.
like legendary conspiracy theories. Actually, like to be honest, like just some of the new ones. Like I don't, because it seems like it should be easy to figure out who's the first person on the internet who said this.
And they find shit out so easy that when they can't figure it out, you're like, huh?
Yeah, that's a conspiracy.
They're like, oh, the London bomber. Like, we know who released chemical weapons in the London subway tunnels, and it was this murderous cult led by this guy. And it's like, he's like 5,000 miles away. That shit's crazy. How are they able to, like, right? You see that, and you're like, that's fucking crazy. Or he was planning on releasing chemical weapons. And you, like, they catch them doing this stuff so quickly, and then they're like, oh, we don't know who this, the DC convention pipe bomber was. No idea. We just got footage of him walking around and putting bombs underneath seats and doing all that. But then we lose him. Lost him on the footage. Like, what? Where is that blind spot? Does he work here? How did he know there's a blind spot and he could fucking disappear? You can find Luigi, but you can't tell me if there was a dude on the grassy knoll or not. Like, get the fuck out of here. Because there was 2 shooters. JFK 2 shooters.
That's fine. that doesn't mean that any of the theories have any legitimacy whatsoever. And in fact, because like I would say that it is more likely than not that the mainstream conspiracy theories are not the case. Like, you know,
I mean,
like there's a conspiracy theory and you know exactly how it all went down because you read it somewhere on the internet, dude. That's the truth. But what everybody's telling you is the truth, not the truth. But whatever the fuck you read in your rabbit hole, that's the truth.
I think it was Howard E. Hunt. I think is his name. The guy he was arrested in the Watergate break-in, but he was like a CIA spoof and just was like everywhere. And he was totally in Dallas, and they were like, might as well have a picture of him hanging outside the.
I think Woody Harrelson might have played him in the White House Plumbers on HBO.
Yeah,
it was about the.
Yeah, he's a huge fucking weird ass dude involved in like Bay of Pigs type shit. I mean, you look into that Zapata Oil, which was owned by. You know, who owns Zapata? Bush Senior. Was like before he was like, that's the whole thing, is he's listed as an asset at Zapata Oil, Shoe Oil, before, because whenever he became CIA director, the whole thing was like, oh, he's never worked in the CIA, this will be good. And you come to find out in like the Bay of Pigs type shit with JFK, he was like a CIA spoof running some shell company, allowing people to like pass through to go attack Cuba. And then, you know,
George H.W.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, dude. He was the youngest fucking fighter pilot in World War II, dude.
Yeah, he's a CIA spoof. He's a CIA spoof for sure. Like, that's all he was. And then he's like, it's like, so
most qualified person ever to become president.
Yeah.
He was a senator, a vice president, CIA director, ambassador to the United Nations.
And a spoof.
And his dad was a senator.
Well, his dad was, you know, became a senator. I mean, well, I guess it was Grandpa Bush who was like, you know.
Is that Prescott?
Yeah, swindling Nazi gold out of his bank in New York, so it got shut the fuck down.
Who amongst us hasn't? You know what I'm saying? The Vatican, the Bushes.
There was a couple U.S. banks that were dealing in Nazi gold.
For sure.
And then they got
gold is fungible, baby.
They got shut down. And then the whole thing is then he became, like senator, look for people, and he was the main financial backer behind Nixon, a grocery shop bagger from Pennsylvania. And then he like found this kid, promoted him, did all this, and then helped start his political career. That's why the whole conspiracy of the Bush family being Nazis is because their grandpa made a shit ton of money selling Nazi gold. And it's what percentage of the Bush family money and fortune is actually like pirated and pillaged.
Whatever the fuck. Joe Kennedy, JFK's dad, was fucking anti-Semite, I think.
No, I mean, they all got something, but that's where like it originated.
I just saw this article. Hold on. The headline of the article: at least half of the world's population holds anti-Semitic views. A study finds.
That's crazy.
But I mean, I'm wondering, like, what is the criteria there? Like, Jewish people are good with money.
Yeah.
Like, is that? Are we counting it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's. I think that's a conspiracy theory.
That would be. I mean, I'm not gonna guess what the questions would be on that questionnaire, but I feel like it'd be like
what? Like, is that anti-Semitic? Like saying like Asian people are good at math, like, is now considered racist. Maybe it's always been racist. I don't know. But it's like positive racism, right? But is positive anti-Semitism a part of the criteria of what labeling somebody anti-Semitic? I want to know. I just want to know what the models are for this survey that they conducted.
Yeah, until I realized like I was fast, people would be like, "Oh, Joseph's gotta be fast because he's black," in like 3rd or 4th grade, and I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I didn't know. Like I was like, "That's kind of racist," but hell yeah, I'm fast. Like I would just like buy into it. I think there's some racial tropes that people will just buy into because it's like, right, that's cool.
They'll take it. The
black guy's got a big dick. No guys be like, actually, they'd be like, hey, you know what they say? Like any black guy, they'd be like, hey.
No black guys ever like, actually, they did a study and it's right at the same average.
It's like, actually considerably smaller on most cases.
Study shows that the Hmong Chinese have the biggest dicks. Made up like a population of Chinese people.
Yeah. Are racist tropes conspiracy theories? Is it a conspiracy theory that black people have extra muscles in their legs, like Jimmy the Greek said on TV?
I feel like anti-Semitism is the original conspiracy theory.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's 100% fair. I'd agree with that. It goes back to the beginning of our 6,000-year-old planet.
Most conspiracy theories end up like a Jewish person is fucking you in the ass.
Well, that's what they are now. Everything.
I'm telling you, for millennia, it's been like that.
You could find something about like, why does the McRib come once a year? They'd be like, ask George Soros. And
exactly.
And you'd be like, what? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, get the hell out of here. People take it there so quick. Actually, that's a really good thought, is that it's the original conspiracy theory. That, or just, Jesus and religion in general. That's the original.
Well, yeah, like a virgin, a virgin birth.
That's just like almost every other,
I know. Not even coming original.
Yeah,
hey, Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, you could just go to ancient Sumer and they'd be like, oh yeah, born on the 25th, star at birth, Virgin Mother,
Son of God.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep. 12 followers.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Like that's a fucking
the Trinity.
thing.
Yep.
I think it's Zeitgeist or something. The Zeitgeist movie where they just like run through
religious.
Oh, or religious as well. But yeah, they just run through like all the different religions and names of these same people, where it's just like carbon copies of the same story, which is just whatever. Therapy question. That was a good topic. Okay, let's go. I got good ones. Therapy question number 3. What's one item you have lost in your life that you would want back?
My hymen.
Stupid.
You already asked this question.
Did I?
Yeah, and I like had a weird story, like, cause it like first thing that popped in my head where I was the Superman action figure when I was a kid.
Oh, that's right. All right, then what is one item that you have that you wish you didn't, that you wish you could have gotten rid of but stuck with you? Well, you're like, why the fuck do I still have this? Gotta have something.
Why do I don't have like when the fires are going on out here,
Oh, you're just like I'm weighing. Is this worth it?
I'm grabbing like the supercomputer and my dog Weta, and it's like I'm not missing anything. I have clothes and a car. That's it, and the supercomputer and my mic.
Wow, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Well, dang. All right. Therapy question number 4. Do you miss George Santos?
Of course I do.
Me too. I miss him so much. Come back to us.
I feel like now that Trump got reelected, that opens up the door for a Santos comeback. I feel like anything's possible. I feel like John Gruden could get a head coaching job.
They're talking about him for the Cowboys, dude.
Exactly. Like, why not?
He's gonna walk in and be like, "There's a lot of black people in here." Just
so
kidding.
What? Nobody gives a fuck about anything anymore, dude.
He's like, "There's a bunch of nearsighted people in here who all need to go see the optometrist." You're like, "Whoa, I'm just messing." Hey, like.
I got him. It's like a clip of him talking about like Janikowski like kicking field goals
drunk.
Like,
yeah, that's great.
I had to like cut it off twice. I'm like, why is this playing twice? Like not like at like back to back, but like a day later. I'm like, why? Who's pitching this to me?
Yeah, he's like, he showed up wasted from the night before, and he hit like a 58-yard field goal. They were like, fuck it, just let him kick it. And the coach was like, he's wasted. And he's like, then maybe he'll make it. And he just like boot the shit out of it and made it. His son's a kicker somewhere for college right now. Like, yeah, little Janikowski. What a badass dude. The Polish Hammer. That was his nickname. The Polish Hammer.
That's my penis's nickname. That's weird.
But yeah, I totally miss George Santos. Like, please come back to us. I know you're out there living your best life.
Just so that we can both feel good about this and without guilt. Like, what is the worst thing that George Santos did?
Lied about his mom dying in 9/11.
No, I'm talking about like actual like crimes.
Probably extorting a bunch of people as a
Like taking the money from like
a
the
drag.
campaign.
No. Just cross-dressing and being a drag queen in Brazil and stealing.
What's wrong with that?
Stealing
That's
so
why
much.
we love him.
Stealing so much money that the Brazilian government would still love to talk to you. The moment you ever go back, they would love to speak with you, George. Please come back.
Who wouldn't? We'd love to speak to him.
And then denying that it wasn't him, and you're like, bruh, that's totally you.
I would find like I would think something was wrong if he admitted to it.
Yeah,
like,
the campaign stuff was bad, but it was all so
I know
poorly executed that like I can't even like be mad at it, you know?
What about when he did the GoFundMe for the homeless veterans sick dog? And then
Yeah,
just took
that
all
was
the money?
fucked up. That was fucked up.
Okay, but these are all things that I like are forgivable.
Yeah,
for me.
I mean, I'm full of analogies, so I feel like, you know, some of these crimes.
He hasn't crossed like an unforgivable line.
Yeah, you just caught your 12-year-old, you know, making a rope, tying it to the bottom of his bed, and trying to climb out his window and sneak out. Like, you're grounded. Nice try. That's adorable. That you thought that would work. You're crazy. Get out of here.
Right.
Don't do that again.
You're not cut off.
Yeah, you're not like, we're not kicking you out. You don't got to go get a job at, you know, Tom Thumb now. But like, hey, like totally grounded. But that was a cute try. Like that's encourageable. I like your style.
Yeah.
It's crafty.
And you know what? I feel like that it is underrated that George Santos was able to get elected to the House of Representatives in New York
After he lost so bad the first time.
What a political fucking maven.
Think about it. And he ran once and then lost and then showed back up. So he ran a false campaign twice.
and nobody ever
and
thought
nobody picked up
about,
on it.
About fact checking anything he said until after he got sworn in.
And I remember whenever he popped up on the scene and we were critical of old Georgie boy because we were like, this lying is incredible. But then he kept going and I was like, this is kind of interesting. It's like
elite levels of lie.
It's like, you know,
committed to it.
Yeah. Are you sucker punching people or are you going for the sucker punch world record in a minute? Because whenever you get to 10 or 15 people, hey, you shouldn't be sucker punching people, but that guy can fucking hit, man. He's knocked out 15 people in less than a minute and he's going. And the record was 8. Like, he's way past it. At some point, game's got to recognize
and he's getting
game.
stronger. He's getting stronger.
Yeah.
He's like Derrick Henry.
It's like Saquon Barkley, actually. Most yards in the second half in NFL history.
There you go, dude. He's just gonna fucking break you down in the first half and then run all over your fucking throat.
Crazy Eagles stat. If you took away all of the first half rushing yards by Saquon Barkley and just used his second half rushing yards, he would be the second leading rusher in the NFL.
Saquondi's nuts.
That's crazy.
Saquondi's nuts.
Like, that's wild.
Hey, Joey in my League of Dorks, my 16-team League of Dorks. Joey bet on, he had a parlay, anytime touchdowns. Everybody hit.
But Saquon.
He's looking for Saquon. Saquon takes up, breaks loose.
Lays it down.
And then slides. Oh my God, dude. It's just a pure pleasure. Because I was like, dude, take it to the house, man. Fuck these Packers. But after knowing that Joey missed out on his parlay,
you're like, yeah, that's good.
Ooh,
did you see after that play, AJ, Nick Sirianni, and Devontae Smith were like, what the fuck are you doing? You got to keep going, man.
Well, you know, he Brian Westbrook did that famously
against the Cowboys.
Game. Yeah, and so I think, but he did it correctly
at the 1 yard line. He got his yards.
Right, and this was just like they weren't. It's not like it was like going to be like an 8-point game, and then the Packers had a chance to come back. You know, it's like that's the reason why Westbrook did is to run the fucking clock out. You take this to the house, like you're just making it that much more likely you're going to win.
Yeah. But
and not to mention like Derrick Henry. Like people are betting out here who's going to get the most rush yards in Wild Card Weekend. It's either you or Derrick Henry, dude. You could have had it, but you slid.
Yeah, I mean, George Santos is the Saquon Barkley of shitty politicians. He's the GOAT. Like, I need to get a George Santos shirt.
Backwards fucking hurdles over Mitch McConnell's geriatric ass.
Like,
Mitch McConnell just freezing. And then George Santos backwards hurdle.
Yeah, and now he's like an icon and wanders around. There's a video of somebody and they threw a drink on George Santos on the street in New York, and he was just like, "What the fuck?" And everybody around him was like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's George Santos. Leave him alone." He's
Fucking national
I
treasure.
can't
dude.
wait. He's gonna be like a host on like RuPaul, like a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race one of these days. Like that's just gonna happen. He's gonna be on Dancing with the Stars. Like George Santos is going to, and
Nah, dude, he's above that.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I think that's how he.
I'm gonna run for office and make him chief of staff. I want to make him head of fundraising.
I mean, I honestly wish he was in the White House. I'd trust him a little bit more.
Oh yeah, over like Hegseth and like fucking Santa Monica fascist Stephen Miller.
Dude, he's so weird. He is such a weird dude. But yeah, we missed you, George. Please come back. Please come back, George.
Yeah, no, he's chilling. He's on all his right.
I gotta get. I'm wearing my Crystal Lake, my Camp Crystal Lake. You know what's it called?
Shirt.
Jason Voorhees. No, you know like Jason. This is like, but I need to get a George Santos shirt.
That's true.
I think-
He is my avatar when I play online poker.
Really? That's great. That's good. See, like I need his glasses or no glasses.
But like it's been two different photos. I forget if the glasses are in this one. It's been him twice, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene when she's wearing like her pimp coat.
Oh,
during
and
the
she's
State of-
like
State of the
pointing.
Union
Yeah,
yelling
and
at-
she's
yeah,
pointing.
Yeah, I just let everybody like at the table know what time it is.
So
You know,
people, so you show up and people think you're straight MAGA.
they think I'm MTG, baby. No, because like I can't stop talking about how I'm the head of Antifa. Just anybody who will like listen to me, I'll fucking tell them.
You ready for articles, sir?
Let's actually take a break.
Oh yeah, we'll take a little break. We hit hour mark, so we will be back in a second.
10 minutes.
Don't go anywhere, or do whatever. Fuck you.
Recording stopped.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Hey.
Hey, we're back. Time for the topics, the articles of the day. The first one is from the Washington Post by Karen DeYoung. White House to lift state sponsor of terrorism designation for Cuba. Less than a week before leaving the White House, President Joe Biden is lifting the state sponsor of terrorism designation for Cuba, nearly 4 years to the day from when then President Donald Trump, in one of his own last acts in office, put Havana back on the list. The Cuban government is concurrently expected to free a significant number of political prisoners under an agreement it has made with the Catholic Church, including an unspecified number before the end of the Biden administration on January 20th, said a senior Biden administration official who briefed reporters Tuesday on the condition of anonymity. Oh my God.
Anonymity.
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 Yeah, there you go. Underground rules set by the White House. Congress was expected to be formed of the action Tuesday afternoon. We're recording this Tuesday evening. Both of the officials at the transition teams have been in regular communication. And what do you think about this?
I mean, well,
I put this.
You can travel to Cuba?
Again, yeah. So, like, Obama had his deputy national security advisor, Ben Rhodes, working on normalizing relations with Cuba, like first secretly, and then they like robustly did it, and that's why. And then we opened up with Cuba, and that's why people were like able to go to like Havana for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Trump is just like, he's like, oh, what do people like? Let me do the opposite, and put him back on the list. I think it's insane that Cuba's been on this list of state-sponsored terrorism for this long. It's like our policies around Cuba as the United States have obviously not worked. You know, the Castros are still in fucking power. Cuba's like 20 miles off the coast of Florida, whatever the fuck. And like they're like better homies with China and Russia than they are us. It's like dumb. And it's like fucking our new Secretary of State, Senator Marco Rubio, and people like that who keep these stupid fucking policies in there because they have Cubans as their constituents in Florida who vote Republican because they're like worried about socialism.
Yeah, what's interesting is whenever they opened it up for a bit, there was people who like went and visited. I think there was a documentary where like Jay-Z and Beyonce go to Cuba, and it's a time capsule, man. There are such cool, crazy, classic cars that are in like impeccable condition because they can't get shit in there. So it's like the cars they have are the cars they fucking have for most of them, and it's wild. There's like awesome like 1952 Bel Airs, like just crazy classic muscle cars just driving around Cuba. I think it's a good idea. I don't know why we like nixed that in the first place. It just seemed goofy and backwards. It seems
it was 100% because Obama did it. So
it was more petty than petty in a different way than what would like the Iran deal and pulling out of the Iranian deal that we had, and which was goofy to begin with.
Obamacare, which is a Republican idea in the first place. Like, it's just, you know, President Blackenstein put it in. We got to get rid of it.
Blackenstein. Hey, feed me white women.
It's so dumb, dude. Like, you know, it's like Barack, like, literally was just like putting in policies that Republicans have been like dreaming about. Like, Obamacare, it was just like a fucking hand job to the insurance companies. It was like, hey, here's more people who are gonna buy, like, we're gonna force them to buy your shit. You know, it's like, but like something Republicans would.
And if
love.
we don't, they got to pay the government money for not having
we'll
your shit.
Fine them if they don't pay you.
And we'll increase it every year until they get it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a bad idea. Like I said, it's
obviously not a bad idea.
It was a step backwards whenever we did away with it in the first place. You'd think like this is an opportunity for us to like mend a bridge.
Yeah, Sure up a homie.
with very few ramifications on our part, and we just like drop the fucking ball. Like we just fucking whiff on this shit by doing it and then pulling out of it. It makes it look like asshats. So I like that he's chose to do it. Now does Trump reimpose it?
I know, and Marco Rubio like is like strong, like one of the biggest like loudmouths against doing something like this. But he's no longer a fucking senator of Florida, so maybe he doesn't care anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm sure in this transition, he's like, no, we have to do this, right? Because he's a part of Trump's administration, Rubio.
Right,
correct?
have to do what though?
We can't rescind if he chooses to do this. This is good. We can use this to our advantage. Blah blah blah. If he's wanting that, he's still going to push to do it. If he cares that deeply.
He wants to keep them on the.
Keep them on. I meant
yeah.
Meant you would get them off.
No, he's totally against like normalizing relations with Cuba. Like staunch, like irrationally against it.
It's crazy.
I know, but like
it's like they walk around, Miami Beach with their thongs, and I can't.
It's solely because there's a bunch of Cuban exiles in Florida who, like, will not vote for anybody who's like down with like normalizing relations with Cuba because of like what they experienced under the Castro regime. Yeah. But that's fine, whatever. But we can't like let this like small like niche population like dictate our national foreign policy. It's just like can't do that, dude. But I don't think like it doesn't really matter what the fuck Marco Rubio thinks, because I feel like Trump only named him Secretary of State so that he could just like humiliate him over and over and over again. Like there's no way Marco Rubio is gonna have any sort of like say in what happens like with our foreign policy and like
it's all
diplomacy. Yeah,
he said from the beginning, just put in people that are loyal to me and will do what I tell them to do.
Right, or I'm gonna put Rubio in there who said that I have small hands and I'm gonna make him look like a bitch.
Drink some more water, Marco. You thirsty?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you over to like our allies and then like talk shit about him while you're there. Deal with it, Marco.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I see like
I'm pissed that Biden didn't do this like day one. But Biden's old and he probably believes in some of that shit too.
Well, and he had like post-pandemic bunch of shit, so it wasn't like being cool with Cuba. What are they gonna? We gonna get N95 masks from them? I don't think they have.
No, them. But the fact that like the president can do this unilaterally without the Congress, like.
Yeah, no,
then go fucking do it.
There's a lot. I'm sure they're like, you got to space it out.
I know, just stupid politics.
And he's like, no,
didn't work.
No, Joe, not space out. Space out the policy. Oh. One time I had ice cream underneath a Ferris wheel. It's sad because Joe Biden was so likable. He still is, but it's just he's an old man. It sucks.
Yeah, totally. I don't even think he's like has dementia. I just think he's like lost like a step. Like I think he's like aware of like what he's doing and like.
Yeah, I mean, because how old's Joe Biden now?
Like 82.
So he's like my dad's age, and my dad's all there. My dad's not getting dementia. Well, after we eat, my dad will fall asleep on the couch pretty quickly, right. Man. I've never seen my dad has never been a napper. That boy loves his naps.
But being the president of the United States is the hardest job in the world.
No,
we don't need 82-year-olds like beginning a second term.
Yeah, 82. I mean, they were talking. My dad's like, "Oh, I want to start another business and do that," and then he was like, "I don't really want to do that," and we were like, "I was like, yeah, you shouldn't. You should just like relax, bro. Yeah. Like chill the fuck out." But no, this is good move. I mean, yeah, a little, maybe too little, too late, but I don't know about too little. Definitely too late for most of us, but obviously a good decision.
Yeah. But to your point, though, we'll see how long it lasts,
Yeah, I mean, it could,
because Trump could just reverse it.
Unilaterally be like, nope, sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
Don't like Cubans. One time, I bought a Cuban prostitute. She saw my penis and laughed. Hated him ever since. It was the worst deal I've ever paid for sex.
The only thing I like about Cuba is force-feeding terrorists without giving them due process or a trial in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I was like, the only thing I like about Cuba starts with a G. ends with a Mo. If you get Mo idea, get my idea.
Starts with a G, ends with an A-Y.
I was being
YMCA.
punny. Because maybe that is the first step in closing Gitmo.
I mean, Barack should have just done it, dude.
But what I'm just saying, normalizing relations. Hey, let's have a chit chat, yo, dude. Like
Another just like
we love that we're cool now, and we love that you come to our neighborhood and hang out at our house. But that shed in our backyard where you like beat the shit out of people,
waterboard people.
even when we weren't cool, you would just like hop my fence and beat the shit out of people in that shed. Can we talk about that? Like,
No, absolutely not.
What shed? What shed are you talking about? The one that says "not a shed" with an American flag painted on the front.
What's so fucked up about Guantanamo Bay is like because of all the horrific shit we've done to them, is why that these guys are still there.
Yeah,
it's like we can't. We're like KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind. On 9/11, like, do you need a mastermind on 9/11? You go to the fucking Chili's, get the fucking steak knives, fly the fucking plane into a building. Like,
everyone knows it was George Soros, dude. This is
not Santos.
Not Santos. He would have stopped it.
Oh yeah, for sure. He actually did stop it. They don't talk about it. He was the one who stopped Flight 93.
Parachuted off DB
Yeah,
Cooper style. I got two DB Cooper references in today. That's wild. But no, yeah, I mean, it's just so stupid. And yeah, I mean, that's whenever somebody's like, I'd let you go, but you see in my face, so now I gotta fucking kill you. You're
no. The thing with KSM is like, if we brought him to trial, his case might get dismissed because of the mistreatment that he's experienced for this long. Not a speedy trial, right? Yeah,
they're not guaranteed. If you're in Gitmo, you're not guaranteed a trial.
Right, which is also a problem.
Yeah. It's like you don't get one. So even if you could, we wouldn't let you because you would tell people what we did to you.
Republicans try to tell us how fucking tough they are and how fucking patriotic they are, but they don't think that a supermax prison in the United States it can handle these dangerous terrorists who are like fucking like feeble old fucking dudes like on hunger strikes, bro. Like. It's like the Supermax can't handle like KSM. Come on, dude.
It's got El Chapo in there, and El Chapo escaped a federal prison because they built him a tunnel with AC and lights and shit. It was actually really nice.
El Chapo, you know what he does better than sell cocaine?
It's a really nice tunnel.
Escape prisons, and we got him. It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. They don't actually believe that. They either you guys are a bunch of pussies, which you say you're not, or you're a bunch of un-American motherfuckers who don't believe in the rule of law, a right to a fair trial, but you say you are American and patriotic, so pick one. Republicans are just so full of shit, dude. Just get rid of Guantanamo Bay. Like, what are we doing? It's such a they recruit terrorists off this shit, dude.
No, 100%. I mean, that's always been my biggest hang up is I'm always like, man, like you're just creating these people. You're just creating more of them.
Right. It's like every time you hit a terrorist with a drone strike, you create two more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because his brother and his dad or his brother and his son are never going to forget that. I'm going to go spend the rest of their life trying to go kill Americans. Yeah. Well, when you fucking inhumanely treat people in a systematic blatant way and go against everything that we claim that we stand for, right? We're a country that values that we want we don't want to show the example of our power is the power of our example. This is what they say about this country. It's like we lead by example. We believe in the shit that we preach.
Don't ask people to do things that we wouldn't do ourselves.
Exactly.
Back to therapy question number 1. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
But Guantanamo Bay erodes that. Donald Trump erodes that.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. They chip away at the
credibility,
integrity of the armor for sure.
Totally.
And people love, honestly, they love to watch it happen. I mean, they love to watch us fuck up and do stupid shit.
Right.
They love it.
I know, but Republicans do it all about national security. Well, it's not. That's not. You're not securing the nation by letting the rest of the world, like, their trust by the rest of the world in the United States erode because of your, cynical political bullshit.
Yeah.
Or racist bullshit, whatever it is. I don't think there's any white guys in Guantanamo Bay. All right. Next article, also from the Washington Post, by Perry Stein and Jeremy Roebuck. What we learned from the Trump January 6th report by Special Counsel Jack Smith. Special Counsel Jack Smith's final report, released shortly before 1 a.m. Tuesday, offers a robust defense of his 2-year, ultimately stymied effort to prosecute Donald Trump for his alleged attempts to subvert the results of the 2020 election. While much of the evidence described in the report's 137 pages was previously revealed in legal filings and court hearings, the document offers the fullest public accounting of Smith's attempt to prosecute what he calls an unprecedented criminal effort. It also gives new insights into the special counsel's investigative process, challenges his team faced in building its case, and the reasoning that guided their decisions. Trump dismissed the report in a post on his social media platform Truth Social shortly after its release, calling Smith a lame brain prosecutor who was unable to get his case tried before the election. Dude, Trump, you better like fucking slow your roll, dude. You're gonna try to troll him for not getting to trial, bro, when you like by the skin of your teeth just skated on like spending the rest of your fucking life in prison because Merrick Garland, our attorney general, is a piece of shit who didn't bring the fucking cases for 2 years after he got in office. Like, don't be like, oh, you couldn't get me into trial. Like, that is.
Well, he already, but it's
playing with fire.
But that's dumb because he already watched him go to trial and get convicted of 34 business fraud related thing, 34 felonies.
But he's saying that Jack Smith.
Oh, I know. That's
who couldn't get him to trial. It's like, dude.
Which isn't true. He's a fucking idiot, honestly. Like, it is what it is. I mean, that's what we said. If he gets elected, he's probably not going to serve from jail because that sets a bad precedent in itself.
Well, it's just a longstanding Department of Justice policy that they're not going to prosecute a sitting president.
Yeah, I know.
And in this report, it says no, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't change based on the severity of the crime or the nature of the crime.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
just the policy.
I mean, and he was fighting to get this not released, not let people see Jack Smith's report
all the way to the Supreme Court,
and it was denied. So it's just like because he didn't. It's like if you didn't do anything and it's not that big of a deal, then just let people read it and make up their own minds. But he cares so much. It was obviously doing weird shit that he doesn't want people to read it.
Right, and then there's a second report about where him stealing nuclear secrets like a fucking treasonous bitch. But his girlfriend, Eileen Cannon, the judge who dismissed that case, had said Jack Smith can't publicly release the report because remember his butt boy Nada, like the Secret Service agent who worked for him, and then whoever the
guy who flooded the pool, the record room, the surveillance room,
the video room, him and the other guy who also got charged in the conspiracy with Trump for the classified documents, that they are appealing their convictions. So that was Eileen Cannon's reason for telling Jack Smith not to release the report. It could affect their appeal, even though they some other official read it, the whole thing, and was like, yeah, this has nothing to do with them. And she was like, nah, still don't do it. She's going to be on the Supreme Court. Watch.
Think so?
Sotomayor goes into a diabetic coma, dude. Eileen Cannon's up. That's crazy. I didn't think about that because I never thought Trump would get reelected. But that's the play. I'm like, guess what? Eileen Cannon, he already appointed you to the federal bench for life. You don't need to do anything for him. Like, why? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
like you won. Like, so why do you don't need to have his back and like ruin your reputation and career by like saying like a special counsel is unconstitutional when it's clearly
it's so weird, this like nepotism, this Trumpetism, where people are like, all right, if I sell my soul for a little bit, he'll get me the dream job I always wanted, and then I'm untouchable. I don't know. Some of these decisions are teetering on some pretty wild reactions from people down the road. So, I mean, him appointing Eileen Cannon, let's say he appoints Eileen Cannon to the Supreme Court, let's just say it's her. I don't think for the Republican Party in the long run, that is better than worse. Like, that none of this looks good. Like, that's why
they don't give a
I know they don't give a shit because they're very short-sighted, and it's very...
they've looked the worst they've ever looked in the history of the party the last 10 years, and they keep, they're in office. So they obviously, I don't know, bro, like, yikes. I just can't, I don't know, like, I can't believe that people even, like, look at, like, a Republican and think that's, like, somebody I'd prefer.
Yeah, I see some wild shit on Facebook from people, and it just cracks me up. Like crazy shit, and I'm just like, you're a fucking moron. I don't even want to argue with you.
Was it from Skibbity Zuckerberg with his mop hair and his gold chain?
Dude, now he's like Skibbity Zuck.
$900,000 watch that looks like shit.
Yes, Skibbity Zuck.
Skibbity Zuck. Zuck the fuck.
Bergie toilet.
Putting out 7-foot statues of his.
And now he's like, oh, we're just gonna go. I like how now he's like, we're just gonna go to a note system, community notes, instead of fact checking.
Because fact checkers were causing more distrust in Meta than they were solving, is what he said. Because they were pointing out that like shit was like a lie. Yeah. God damn, dude. And also in that same statement, he said he predicts masculine energy is going to be making a big comeback. I don't know what the fuck he said. It's like, dude.
What does that mean? That soulless
He has
twat.
no fucking clue what masculinity is, dude.
Yeah.
Next article from Reuters by Andrew Mills, Nadal Al-Murabi, and Mayan Lubel. Gaza ceasefire appears close as U.S. Egyptian leaders put focus on coming hours. White House says Biden and Sisi, General Sisi is the president or dictator of Egypt, or as Trump called him, he's my favorite dictator, Sisi. Sisi. Not like the pizza. Hamas says it's waiting for Israel to submit withdrawal maps. All sides say negotiations are in final stages. Negotiators were near to hammering out the final details of a ceasefire in Gaza on Wednesday after marathon talks in Qatar, and the U.S. and Egyptian leaders promised to stay in close contact about a deal over the coming hours. So we're recording this on Tuesday. It's already Wednesday there, so this is like real time, like going on.
Yeah.
More than 8 hours of talks in Doha. Doha is a city in Qatar. Where they're doing all these, like, Qatar plays like a mediator role, even they're kind of like nefarious actors sometimes. Officials from mediators, Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S., as well as Israel and Hamas, said an agreement for a truce in the besieged enclave and release of hostages was closer than ever. Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson, Majed Al-Ansari, earlier told the news conference that both sides were presented with a text and talks on the last details were underway. But a senior Hamas official told Reuters late on Tuesday that the Palestinian group had not delivered its response yet because it was still waiting for Israel to submit maps showing how its forces would withdraw from Gaza. What do you think about this? I think it's crazy because like Trump is demanding that the hostages get released before he gets into office. Otherwise, there'll be all hell will break loose. It's like, bruh, have you seen Gaza? Hell broke loose.
Yeah, what the fuck? How are you gonna make it worse?
Hell doesn't have shit on what happened to Gaza, dude. Like, doesn't have shit. At least Hell's got like cool people to hang out with, like Gaza is just a fucking nightmare. Um, like I couldn't even imagine just like drones at all times, like above your head, just buzzing, like like you're just like trying to find fucking water. Like it's crazy. I think it's crazy because I don't know, not that we would remember, but if you read in the history books, the Iranians took a bunch of Americans hostage in the embassy, and for over a year. And while Jimmy Carter was president, he was trying to negotiate out. He was running against Ronald Reagan for his second term, and Ronald Reagan and his fucking team, just like a bunch of Republicans would, secretly were back channeling with the Iranians, told them not to release the hostages. They get a better deal from Reagan once he got into office. And as Reagan on January 20th was being sworn in as the president of the United States, all the hostages got released same day. Reagan gets credit for that. Jimmy Carter called a pussy, couldn't get it done. So the fact, like, does Trump not know that? Because, like, in the history books, Biden's going to get credit for getting the hostages home before he leaves office. I don't care what Trump, like, has to say about it. Like, that's just how it's going to go down.
Yeah, but he's that level of crazy where he'd be like, it wasn't Joe, it was because they were afraid of me. That's why they did it.
He'll say that, but that's not how it won't
I know.
be reported that way.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying is they're so short-sighted in their take on this stuff. But this is good. I mean, they start having conversations. This has been going on for so fucking long. I mean, a ceasefire honestly doesn't mean shit. It doesn't resolve any of these issues that exist.
It means a lot because it also means hostages are getting released, and it also means more aid trucks are getting in.
No, I'm not saying it's not important or pertinent to the situation right now, but in the grand scheme of things,
it's not
this battle that's been going on for like the better part of 70 years, like that doesn't mean like a ceasefire. Cool, we've seen it. It's going to be interesting. There's a ceasefire, aid trucks get in, and then they just rebuild their prison city that they live in. I'm just kind of
well, that's what they're trying to figure out, like
but that's what we've been trying to figure out the whole fucking time. That's like, that's what I'm saying.
This is different. Like Gaza's completely
exactly. So I mean, it's different.
Right.
It's different because you've already basically succeeded. Rather than eradicating all the people that live there, you've destroyed where they live. So it's like, okay,
which is still a part of ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, exactly. So where do the people of Gaza, or just Palestinians, where do they go from here? Are you still going to be encroaching illegally and taking our property and claiming our homes and claiming my land and kicking me off of a place where my family's lived for 150 years on the Western Bank? Like, are you still going to keep doing that shit? Because if you are, then like I don't think this ceasefire means shit. It's not addressing, well, it's good in the moment, tangibly in the moment.
How about this? It's a necessary step, but it's not at all like the
I know, but
final plan.
But we've been on these steps. That's what I'm saying. Is we took 3 steps backwards down the stairs, and now we just walked back up to the step we were on before. Only part of the stairs is like way more destroyed than it's ever been. So I don't like. It's almost like mission completed.
Well, the Gulf states, and just in case I don't know, people have never heard that. Like the Gulf states refers to like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. There's all these like rich oil Arab countries. They are all basically know that they're gonna pay to rebuild Gaza, and they have the money to do it. So I think that's what's gonna happen. Really, like what they need to figure out is who's gonna be in charge, how is that gonna be determined? Because the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, he's like 90 and nobody fucking like trusts him anyways. So that was like our alternative to Hamas in Gaza. But like they're not trustworthy. So, and having Israeli soldiers occupying Gaza, that's a fucking
like. Are we past that point? Can we be done with that? Because that's like a catalyst.
Well, they occupy West Bank.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not like it's
I know.
It's not like any of the scenarios on their end is going to change. They're just going to stop killing innocent people.
I know. Well, and also fucking Netanyahu needs to like think about like what, like, okay, like you might be winning this war, but like what are you doing psychologically to all of like the young people soldiers there, like that are like you're putting them in these situations to like commit atrocities and witness all this shit. It's like that like has like really like detrimental effects like on people, like to like, you know,
It's like
put 'em through this, like-
Vietnam.
right. It's yeah. But I
You're
mean,
gonna have guys coming back with fucking full blown PTSD, being
100%.
like, there was a kid who was trying to get water and he bumped into us and he pulled out an RPG, so I killed him and his whole family, and I see them every day I go to sleep.
Yep.
And you're gonna have generations of people who think like that and see how much they support your crazy radical extreme movement, Mr. Netanyahu. Not going to go very well for you. And then like we've seen this happen in American history, and it's not like Vietnam's a really good example of it, where it's just like unnecessary war, unnecessary deaths, people coming back tormented by what's happened to the people they care about, as well as what they've had to do to other people, innocent or not. They don't know. They don't fucking know. It's Charlie. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you're fucking 19 in a fucking jungle across the world, like, and you don't even know why the fuck you're there.
and it's not like they were drafted. It's like you have mandatory military service whenever you come
That
of
is
age.
drafted.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like,
Oh, you're talking about Israel.
yeah, like in Israel there is no draft.
Everybody
like
has to serve.
Everybody's got to serve. That's a fucking part of it.
Same with South Korea. So that's why you see boys in BTS over there serving in the military, which is tight. I think the United States should do that too, but also like give you the option to do like the Peace Corps or the military, but service for the country.
Yeah.
Because if you have to serve for the country, and your kids have to, then you start to think a little bit differently when it comes to making decisions about going to war.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But if you don't know anybody in the military, it's like less than 1% of the population, you know, is like in the United States military, and it's like a volunteer force only. You know, it's like then it's like, oh yeah, fuck it, I don't know, war. Like, you know, it's like it doesn't affect anybody. But back in World War II, it affected everybody. Vietnam affects everybody. You know.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely.
Nowadays, it doesn't.
Well, it still does affect people. Vietnam.
No, it affects people, but it doesn't like so many people, like the vast majority of the population of the United States is like shielded from like the consequences of going to war.
Yeah, for sure.
And therefore, I feel like are more willing to go to war because they don't
fully grasp the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
They were seeing it through American
what that
rose
actually
tinted
means.
glasses, yeah, and then they get there and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it's like now if I said, "Hey, we're gonna go to war," and your 3 sons are gonna get shipped out, you start thinking about it a little bit differently.
Yeah, most definitely, absolutely. And I'm not trying to be just like all doom and gloom about it, but I'm just saying like, ceasefire, great. Please stop killing innocent people. That'll be interesting if Qatar and some like people in Dubai, all these motherfuckers that are super rich who all have a vested interest in not liking Israel, help rebuild Gaza and spaces for Palestinian people to live. That's going to be interesting. I wouldn't like to see. I'm just curious how that would go if they decide to do. We're just going to start bombing Gaza again. I don't think that those governments in those countries would take very kindly to the Israelis just bombing their shit. No, I'm just
because Hamas won't be in charge if that happens.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is Hamas won't be in charge. But I'm saying is, so we talk about how in Israel. Israel exists on a map, and they're surrounded by people that they say everybody hates them. And now,
like in a 7-front war.
And now this 7-front war is going to be paying to rebuild the prison planet.
Okay. Listen, they were like a day away from normalizing relations with Saudi Arabia before October 7th happened. Like that was on the table. In exchange, we were going to give Saudi Arabia a security guarantee, like Article 5 in NATO, that if Saudi gets attacked, we're going to go to bat. That's what we're going to let them use nuclear power for like civilian purposes, not for like weapons. We're going to give the fucking Saudis uranium and tell them that if Iran attacks them, we're going to go to war with Iran just so they'll normalize shit with Israel. And that was about to happen. And UAE, they already did that. And like I hear about it all the time, like it's crazy. Like people say it's crazy. You see all these like Jewish people from Israel like shopping like in Dubai now, like, and that used to like be like unheard of, like not even allowed. Like they're like no flights like from Israel to UAE.
Yeah, but I
So all these Gulf states are not the states we're talking about. We're talking about the Seven Front War is it's Iran, it's
oh, I know.
Hezbollah, it's Hamas, it's the Houthis. It's
Oh, I
Yemen,
understand that, but what I'm saying is that, and this is, maybe it's a layman's take on it, but religious backgrounds of all of these countries, if you're going to believe what the Saudis tell you on face value, what they're going to do, that's a gas. The Saudis are shisty as fuck, and they always have been. I mean, just being honest. I mean, what was it? 11 of the 15 9/11 attackers were Saudi nationals.
I thought there was 17, and it was like 15 or 17.
15 or 17. It was damn more.
All of them besides two.
Almost all of them. Like I don't think you can necessarily. There's
Osama bin Laden. There's from Saudi.
There's something in it for the Saudis to want to do it more than just now we're cool.
I'll tell you what it is. It's not a conspiracy, dude. It is Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, douchebag.
But
chopped up a journalist in a Pakistan.
100%.
Come on.
Murderous fuckwad millennial putting a bad look on the millennials. He's like our age. I'm not hyping up him, but he sees the writing on the wall because he's not a fucking white Republican in the United States and realizes climate change is real and the world's moving towards renewable energy. And they're like a one-trick pony with the oil. So he's pivoting to like try to like hype up their tech sector and shit, and like he's like building like these like high-tech cities and all this shit. Well, guess what? There's a fucking powerhouse in the Middle East when it comes to tech. The tech sector, and that's called Israel. So it's like we got a neighbor next door who's got like the state-of-the-art technology, like, but we can't do business with them because like they're Jewish, So that like that's the whole thing. Like it's a business decision.
I understand.
So it is in his self-interest. It's not because he cares about Jewish people. However, it's just not a secret of why they're doing it.
No, I know, and I mean I just don't think.
But you also get the United States as your guarantor protector, and you get to nuclear energy, which will help when it comes to like making.
But we act like if Iran attacked anybody or farted on somebody's dinner plate, we wouldn't go fuck them up in the first place. Like anytime Iran's got beef with anybody, unless it's like Russia.
When Trump was president, Iran lobbed missiles into Saudi Arabia, took out half of all of their oil facilities.
Actually, I do remember that.
And Trump didn't do a fucking thing. And that was also kind of eye-opening. The Saudis thought like, oh, for sure they got our back, because we have a base in Saudi Arabia. Like every single weapon they have they buy from us. Like they only sell their oil in dollars because we told them to.
Yeah.
And we didn't do shit. So they're like, okay, listen, we'll normalize relations with Israel, but you better fucking write this down on paper. You're gonna get our back next time. I don't like that. I don't like the deal.
No, I mean I just don't.
I don't want to not give a fucking radical like theologian like a theocracy. Like it's not like Iran like with the mullahs and shit, but like it's close.
Damn, it might as well. They have a fucking prince.
We're gonna give them all the tech for nuclear energy.
Anyone that's got a monarchy,
and just fingers crossed they don't do anything
stupid.
Crazy with it.
Yeah, not like they would do that before. Like not that they haven't done like that. That's where I'm just
not like they would attack the United States.
And I'm just saying is the beef between the Palestinians and the Israelis, if it ever comes to a head again, and there's outside vested interest within the Palestinian community, because let's just say they go help build it up, and then next thing you know, in 30 years, Gaza's a tech hub, is just like a crazy bad, because it's not like they're gonna just like rebuild shit the way it was. They're gonna make it crazy as shit, right? And when they do that, it's gonna completely transform it. And that, what if there's resentment towards that and they decide to do something about it? That's all I'm saying. Or what if there's radical Israelis who decide to do something against this new form of whatever Gaza is that they didn't pay for, that they had, that that all of these other countries have vested.
Bro, I think I don't know. I don't think it's gonna get to like.
I'm not, and this is. I know.
Like
I would
they're
hope
just
it's
looking
not.
for fucking basic plumbing at this point. Like, you know.
I understand that. You're talking about the Palestinians. I'm talking about the financial guarantors that will be helping Gaza get back on its feet. Those are not people that in this game. So you're talking about Bin Salman's all pro, like changing stuff, letting women drive. Like, he's changed a lot of stuff for sure to be more socially palatable. Most of this came after he chopped up Khashoggi in a Pakistani fucking embassy.
I mean, some of it came before, and then everybody was like, "Dude, look at he's a reformer.
And
He's a reformer."
And then he chopped
up a Washington Post journalist, dude, in a fucking Turkish embassy.
Yeah, Turkish embassy, and like took him out in pieces. I don't like the deal, and the distrust is such a deep underlying root of this tree that I just don't.
I don't like it either.
I just like, no, that tree's still
not worth it.
That tree's still got rot in the bottom of the trunk. It doesn't matter what you do to it. It doesn't matter how big it gets or how strong it is. The bottom of that tree is rotted, and it's gonna fall at some point. It's gonna have to. There's no way it doesn't. Like, that would be going. You would be asking that whole region at some point to change the views, because by taking that stance and being pro-Israel, while we would be their backers on that stuff, I mean, we're not going to jump into a 7-front war for Saudi Arabia.
We are if we make that deal.
I don't know why we would do that. That's stupid.
Because if we guarantee the security of Saudi Arabia and then do not.
No, I understand why. I understand.
Then you got South Korea. It's like, well, maybe I should get nukes. Japan, maybe I should get nukes. You're like other treaty allies, Thailand. Like, I mean, like.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, but
okay. No, I say that. Except for we told Ukraine, if you give up your nukes after the Soviet Union broke up, Ukraine had a bunch of nukes. We're like, hey, just give them up, give them to Russia proper, and if you do that, the United States will guarantee your safety. And then Russia invaded, and we're like, oh, what?
I mean, and I'm sorry, I'm full of analogies today, but you've seen The Wire. Have you seen The Wire? You've seen The Wire.
I've watched the first 3 episodes 4 times.
Dude, it's so good. There's a group where they have like this commission, and they get everybody together, and it's all the drug dealers from all of Baltimore, and they're like, look, we all go in on a pack together because that's how we get a better deal, and then you take yours, you sell yours here. We're harder to stop if we all work together. Bitch, that didn't last. That didn't last because at the end of the day, their own vested interests still seeped through, and that was still more important. It was almost like they were biting their tongue.
Well, let me counter you. Saudi Arabia is in. I don't know, like what you just described. Kind of sounds like a cartel maybe. Saudi Arabia is the head of a cartel called OPEC, the oil cartel. Yeah. All the major oil producers besides the United States get together and decide on how much they're going to produce, and then what they're going to charge. And that shit's held together. It's actually called OPEC Plus now. They added a couple countries, except for it's always. You're right. You know what? You're right.
They're enriching themselves. They're royal families. Like, they own that shit.
They're always beefing though. Like right now, Russia, because the amount they can sell their shit on the open market is capped, so they can't make more money if the price of oil goes up, because so the only way they can make more money is to sell more quantity.
Yeah,
but Saudi Arabia doesn't want that, because the more quantity goes out, the price drops.
Yeah,
and yeah, so they're trying to keep the price up, so they're trying to keep their production low. Russia's trying to crank it out, and so they're beefing. And that happens kind of all the time, but this is specific to
but
Ukraine war.
At the end of it, the commission falls apart because at the end of the day, they all still fucking hate each other. They all want more money than the other person got. Doesn't matter how much they put into it, whatever they did. At the end of the day, the commission doesn't work, and one person is running the commission. There's still one person in charge. So while we're all in the room making these decisions, I'm actually making the decisions. I'm just having a conversation with you while I do it. And if you don't do what I want, I'll kick you out of the fucking commission and I'll kill you. And if you don't like it, then don't sell drugs in Baltimore. And that's basically how it's struck. And that I just feel like it sounds too good to be true on paper. You're asking countries' religious, like you said, theocratic governments to put aside their thousands of years of animosity towards a group of people in the name of like silicone chips. I just don't believe.
No, see, I don't know, because like, first of all, not that we were talking about them, but okay, who hates each other the most in that region? It's Iran and Israel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 years ago, fucking Israel and Iran, and hundreds of years leading up to that, were homies. Persians and Jews get along all the time. It was only when they had the Islamic Revolution, and they got into power by saying, because they were trying to overtake the Shah of Iran, the king, and he was homies with the United States, he was homies with Israel, so it was death to America, death to Israel, and the revolution worked, and in order to stay in power, they have to keep the boogeyman there.
No,
so it's death to Israel, but they're not natural enemies.
No, I know that they're. I'm not saying
that's just Iran. So I'm saying like yeah, Israel's been beefing with people since the nation was created in the 40s or whatever the fuck. But
the 40s, by the way.
Okay, I just said
no, I know. I'm just for people think that it's existed for forever. And I'm like,
oh,
no,
right.
No, and it was about half the size it is now. No, and I'm not sitting here saying that they're natural enemies, but what I am saying is there's threads in this quilt that are like spiteful threads that exist on a religious sentiment before Iran became. There was religious extreme. That's why there was a revolution in the first place, because there was enough people who didn't like Israel to begin with and didn't need a spiritual leader to tell them to not like Israel. They just tapped into something like they do here with racism, where they tap into it and they get that flow going and they get more people to buy into it. But there was something to tap and flow to begin with. And I'm just saying that regardless of what comes of this deal or I need to see like if no one dies for like 5 years, I'll be like, all right. And I'm just saying, because if Israel's tactics are the same, besides this bombing campaign and murder campaign they've done in Gaza, then we're getting nowhere. Then we're getting absolutely nowhere. And then
so this is what
Palestine will be picking up, even if let's say they don't pay for it and they still go through with this stuff, and then Gaza's just like, all right, you got to go find somewhere else. China will swoop in and pay for that shit, but somebody will. Somebody who has an adverse view of that will come in and pay for it. And then now Gaza and the Palestinians have just picked up 2 to 3 more enemies in the Gulf states because they have a vested interest. So now it's the Gulf states.
No. Because Gaza is a part of Israel, and Israel's not going to let China do that. Israel will happily let the Gulf states pay for the reconstruction of Gaza. They're Arabs. The Arabs money. They don't want to pay for it. They whatever the fuck, you guys deal with it. That makes sense. So the United States would not let that happen.
I know that's extreme. I know that's.
I don't even know if a Chinese person's ever been to Gaza.
I know that sounds extreme. I'm just using it as an example. Is at that point, while Israel is part of Palestine, or Palestine's part of Israel, it's not.
There is no Palestine.
I know it's not. Like that's like it's all Israel, and the Palestinians who live in the state of Israel, Western Bank, would be picking up 2 to 3 more vested enemies at the behest of Israel, because then their vested interests financially, tech-wise, military-wise, money is going to be coming from Israel. So if Israel's like, yep, we got to do something about this Gaza shit, and they didn't pay for any of it, they're going to be like, yeah, what are they going to say? No. They're like, hey, we're going to go kill your Muslim homies. We're going to go kill all these guys because we hate them, and they're Muslims and they're Palestinians and they live in Palestine. So and it's not even there. And we're just going to take their shit because we fucking hate them and we think that religiously they're terrible people and they don't deserve to be.
That's not the beef.
I'm saying is at a root cause, there is a vitriol on both sides that stem from a religious point of view of each other.
I think it's territory.
But the reason why that Israelis feel entitled to more land in Israel is because they think it's their right to have it in the first place. So
the Jewish people live there first.
So their whole movement in taking these other people's land that they're in.
No. The United Nations gave them the fucking country, dude, after the Holocaust.
I understand that. What I'm saying is the tactics in acquiring more land is in a religious belief that they have the right to do that to those people. It is.
The settlements you're talking about?
Yeah, the settlement.
In the West Bank? Yeah, that is racist, fucked up, ridiculous bullshit. And what it is a systematic way to try to ethnically cleanse Israel from Palestinians. 100%. It's nefarious as fuck.
And that is that in some way, shape, or form for the EAU, for Qatar. They're watching their religious brethren be ethnically cleansed off the planet by a Jewish state. That's where I'm saying, and that's where that is a
Okay.
conflict of interest.
Well, let me just say, a lot of people think that Hamas and Iran, like, fucking executed October 7th terrorist attack was because they knew Saudi Arabia, who used to be the biggest backer of Palestinians, the Palestinian state and shit, was about to make a deal with Israel, and that deal was always predicated on a two-state solution for the Palestinians. And the Saudis just were like, you know what, we don't even give a fuck anymore. And so Hamas was like, did that to be like, yo, dude, we're still here, So it's like I don't even know. Like, I don't feel like MBS gives a shit about a
It's like I'm just
Palestinian.
saying, is like all these Middle Eastern countries
None of them
are
care. Like
or
Iran's not
like
even
eight
Arabic, and they're like the biggest backer.
are like an 8-sided die that all have the same numbers, but they're all are the same number, but they're just painted a different color, but it's still the same fucking number on the same die. So they might not all face the same direction, but they all at the end of the day are all a 2. And I'm just saying is at
No.
that
There's Shia, there's Sunnis, there's different sects, bro.
that I don't think that everybody in the EAU or Qatar or
UAE.
UAE EAU, what is that? United. I'm trying to think of that. That stands for something. Maybe it's like an airplane manufacturer. But no, I just don't.
Eastern Atlantic University.
I don't see them. I just don't see this playing out well in the long term because there's too many conflicting. It's one side with conflicting viewpoints.
You know what's not the current state of affairs is not playing.
No,
out well.
hasn't been, and now it's really bad. So that's just. So what I'm saying is just like I don't get. I get the end game business wise and financially.
I remember. Okay, I wanted to say something and then I forgot about it. Like while you were saying something, with Russia, like the Soviet Union, right? Our like Cold War, our fucking enemy. Fuck them, pieces of shit. We never bought anything from them, right?
Yeah.
Gas, maybe, on the open market. China has replaced the Soviet Union as our biggest strategic competitor in the world, right? Global competitor. Only difference is we need each other, right? We buy so much shit from China. Like we get so much shit from China and they need our money. They need the United States purchasing their shit in order for their economy to work. And that's totally different than the Soviet Union, and it makes it way less likely that we'll go to war with China.
No, I know,
Because
but it's conflict.
so my point is, if Saudi Arabia and Israel normalize relations and they start doing business together, commerce, motherfucker, the exchange of goods and services, they might be less likely to go to war.
Yeah, and I get that for Israel, but I'm not speaking about the other chunk of people that live in Israel that have a lot of them, maybe not the same or different versions, but same religious views. Some of them are extremists for sure. So you do have like Hamas and Hezbollah. You have all these crazy motherfuckers who are doing their own thing, right? But at its core, they all have the same religious beliefs and want the same things out of life when it comes to like being Muslim and their Muslim religion. And I'm saying is one of the reasons why this war and this battle, or these battles even amongst like, you know, the Arab Spring and the Sunnis and the Shiites, those are like thousands-year-old battles that they've been having that are strictly based on a religious viewpoint. And a lot of stuff gets thrown out the window when it comes to that religious viewpoint. So they talk about an American, you'd be like, well, I'm an American and I'm Christian. You'd be like, oh, they'd be like, well, I'm Muslim and I'm from Lebanon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're it seems like that in that part of the world, they do normally put their religion first, regardless of what it is. You think about Syria and Christians living in Syria. Are they safe? And it's because it's the religious overtones that come with that. And I'm saying that all of those surrounding nations share a similar viewpoint. Like, what if Egypt gets pissed off? Now Egypt's pissed because Saudi Arabia is doing this, and they decide to back Palestinians and not just like be idle and stop people
No,
at the
they
border.
can't because we signed a peace treaty with Egypt and Israel, and Egypt gets $1 billion every single year from the United States as long as they don't fuck around.
Okay.
And it's held for 50 years.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
Egypt and Israel went to war like 3 times.
No, I know. I just think it seems like it's just slippery slope. I hope it works out, and I hope obviously the ceasefire takes
it's off
place.
the fucking table now. It's
Well,
not going to happen.
for now, but I mean, I think that it might be a different route. Now, maybe it's like if you incorporate the Palestinians and you do a 2-state solution, or you stop doing these things, then we'll do business. See, that would be more progressive by Prince bin Salman if he was like, hey, these are the things that I want to see you, the steps I want to see you take so we can normalize relations. I need you to normalize relations with Palestinians.
No, that used to be the fucking. That used to be.
Well, that should still be on the table. I mean, we just watched them
I know.
eradicate their whole, like, eradicate Gaza off the map. So that's where it's like, and it can't be like, well, fuck the Palestinians because they're not all at fault for what's gone on, right? And about the attacks on October 7th. That's not all of the Palestinians as a whole decided to do that. It's
No shit.
It's It's a guerrilla terrorist organization that was arisen out of oppression and mistreatment by the Palestinians.
Funded cynically by Iran.
Exactly, like just like we funded Al Qaeda back in the day. Sometimes we fund
To fight the Russians.
Yeah, we give insurgents guns.
That was
and
the Mujahideen, was it? Yeah, that's what they used.
We
to
gave Iranians guns. Like we've given all sorts of.
That was because that was.
And then we lied about it
during the Iran. Yeah, that's right. Reagan did illegally sell weapons to Iran.
And lied about it
in a legal war in Nicaragua, but during the Iran-Iraq war, I was praying for the bullets.
I don't know. Making a deal with Mohammed bin Salman is like shaking hands with Saddam Hussein. Is he a
No, it's not. No, it's not.
He chopped.
We have leverage over the Saudis, dude.
Well, I know we had leverage over Iraq the whole entire time. What was it? We totally did. Whenever he was in power,
before we invaded Iraq, we didn't have any fucking leverage. We didn't have a base there. We didn't
have
weapons.
a base, but I mean, we showed up for Desert Storm and fucked everybody.
Right. Well, that's because they invaded Kuwait.
I know.
There's Kuwait's back.
I know we had Kuwait's back, but they showed up. We chased them the fuck off fairly quickly, and then we dipped the fuck out. And it's like if you fuck with us, and that's the whole thing with him. Or you look at Gaddafi.
MBS and Saddam Hussein are two totally different.
Maybe it might be a
things when it comes to their relationship with the United States government.
Yeah, foreign policy, maybe but front facing.
Like as people, no, I'm not. Like they're both.
So I'm saying you're making a deal with the
devil. Fucked up nepo babies that witnessed murder as children and probably murdered as children, like for sport. Both MBS and Saddam Hussein, like for sure. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying Saddam Hussein is like a rogue fucking actor, just didn't give a fuck.
Well, I'm just saying is MBS in the long run
MBS
has a okay. I mean,
I'm saying he's like trying to be.
Hitler hosted the Olympics. I mean,
right.
I'm just saying is
Saddam Hussein did not do that shit.
In the long run, MBS has a likelihood to wind up looking like, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just being devil's advocate. He has just as much of a chance to end up with the same type of megalomaniac attitude if he doesn't already have it. Public facing, like Saddam Hussein. He's just good at PR right now.
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like MBS is like he's like a polished. He's like a
polished Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, he's like a mobster, like who wears a suit, as opposed to.
Yeah, he's like a polished Saddam Hussein.
Like as opposed to a gangster who robs a liquor store.
No,
Saddam's gonna rob the fucking liquor store and shit in the middle of the street. MBS is going to do cocaine in the bathroom and launder money.
No, I mean, Saddam got paranoid and super crazy there at the end. And I mean, obviously in the beginning, whenever he held a big meeting and rounded up all the political leaders in all of Iraq and sat them in a room and called off names and said, these people are traitors, and then walked them out one by one out of an auditorium and executed them which is one of the craziest fucking things you could ever watch because it's just dudes
That is a perfect example. And when MBS has a version of that exact same thing, what do? Rounded up everybody in the Saudi family in the government and fucking kidnapped them, locked them in a Four Seasons hotel.
Yeah, I remember that.
And would not let them leave. So they're hanging out in a luxury hotel, cannot leave until they fucking transfer all the funds back to MBS or back to the state.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
Like the biggest hitters in the country. He just snipped their balls like as like a 35-year-old. He's like, yo, this is my shit now.
And I love your optimism on this. And I'm
not optimism.
No,
That's
I'm not about that.
Up, like,
I'm talking about like what can transpire from this and the direction that it's heading. But you're making a deal with somebody who locked his family in a Four Seasons hotel, all of them, to make them give him all of his money, chopped up a dual citizen because he had American citizenship.
He wasn't American.
Chopped this motherfucker up in another country in an embassy and then took him out in bags. And that's the dude. That's why I compare him to like Saddam. Is I'm like, no, it's like more polished. There's probably way more than we know about and we found out a lot about Saddam stuff later, but it was also intimidation tactics. It was like, I'm going to round these people up on TV and broadcast it. And like, he's not doing that stuff. But I mean, he's totally cut from the same cloth. And I'm saying that's a dude.
Brutal, ruthless, sociopathic dictator, 100%.
And that's somebody I could see.
They were just dealt different hands.
Snapping.
MBS's hand is more advantageous when it comes to.
Well, Saddam had to be more ruthless
playing on the global stage.
Yeah, well, Saddam had to be more ruthless to get his hand. That's like the whole thing. Is he rose the ranks and did some fucked up shit, and then seized power and took a bunch of people out.
MBS was born.
Struck the fear of God into people. People are afraid of the Saudi royal family and him, but it's because he's a part of the Saudi royal family.
Right.
Saddam's like, I'm going to make my family the dynasty. That's like a little bit more gangster as fuck. But I mean, Saddam would probably burn down the liquor store, open up his own liquor store, then burn down the block and own the block and install his family running it. Where it's just like, it's like a little bit different because they already run it. MBS was born and they were like, one day you will have all of this, Simba. Everything the light touches is yours. Like, and he's like, okay. So he's even more, he's even more deranged than say a Gaddafi, than say a Saddam Hussein, than an Orban. He's more.
Well, I don't know, because he's also, but he's like Western educated. So,
but that's scary. He's like Stephen Miller. He's like Stephen Miller, not Donald Trump. Who are you more afraid of? I don't
think he's as smart as Stephen Miller.
Well, I mean, he's smarter than Donald Trump. And in that room of Saudis, if he's one of the most,
we sure?
He has to be. Chopped somebody up and got away with it. I mean, Trump just talks about shooting people and getting away with it, and he does get away with some weird shit. If Trump chopped up a body,
if Trump was president when he was 38, then, he had more vigor, he might be chopping up bodies.
Maybe he'd be chopping up prostitutes.
He's definitely chopped up some strippers or prostitutes.
Oh, for sure, definitely. He's like,
at least some fetuses.
He's like, I'm not paying for hush money. I'm just gonna make them hush forever. No, I mean,
cheap to pay for an abortion. Come here, Adam.
And that was, good little chit chat, because I feel like while we agree, we also disagree at the same time whenever it comes to the Gaza-Israel situation.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really taking a side here. I'm just saying this is what's up. This is what's happening.
No, I know. I'm just saying these players that are all involved are all extremely bad actors. So to be optimistic about the outcome when it comes to these people investing in a group. And like I said, and then it also, for me, the religious undertones of all of these groups. And
I know, but the Abraham Accords, the Jared Kushner and Trump hype up as the greatest peace deal ever. Not a peace deal. We just told the UAE we'd sell them a shit ton of fucking missiles if they would let Jewish people come and buy shit from their cities. That's not a peace deal. That's an arms deal. And that's what the Abraham Accords are, but that was...
And that's nefarious as fuck to me. That should make people be like, wait, what?
But people don't want to hear that. They're like, oh, they just want to hear Trump telling them how great of a peace deal that was.
Oh,
the UAE was ever going to go to war with Israel. Get the fuck out of here.
UAE's tiny.
I know, but I mean, so is Israel.
True. It's bigger. It's bigger, though.
LA County has more people in it than 48 states. Not 48, but 40.
I believe it.
Okay, last article, y'all. From The Guardian, out in the UK. Oh, it's actually from Reuters, but The Guardian like reposted it. Don't have a byline on this. Okay. Chinese officials reportedly discussed sale of TikTok in U.S. to Elon Musk. Bloomberg News says preliminary talks have taken place, but TikTok spokesperson rejects report as pure fiction. See, I can't decide who I believe less here. The Chinese Communist Party or Elon.
I would just, if you're just let it get banned in the U.S., bro. Like if you're ByteDance, you're the Chinese Communist government, how much fucking money they've made and information they've probably pirated off of it. I would just cut your losses and walk the fuck away. Sell it to Elon Musk.
No, they don't want to sell it. They don't want to sell it because they don't want. If they sell it, then we have access to the algorithm, and if they were fucking around with it, then we'll know.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cut your losses, walk away. Just be like, fine, ban it. We're out. Bye. Peace. Later. See ya. Bye. Walking off. That's it. That's like that. If I was China, that's exactly what I'd do. And I'd come up with something and create another company that's not banned and do the same shit over again. Like, I mean,
Are you kidding me? You can't just create another TikTok, bro. Shit's like a phenomenon. 167 million Americans. What? I didn't even know that many knew how to use a fucking phone.
No, I mean, I get it. It's like it's a cash cow for them. But if they're gonna,
well, no, it's not even the cash cow, dude. It's the
information.
It's the access to, be able to shoot propaganda and misinformation.
Yeah, then just wait for another niche. But I mean, because if they sell it and we know that, and then there's ramifications for understanding all of the stuff that they've been doing with it, why would they put themselves in the position?
I heard that if they were gonna consider selling it, they were gonna sell it without the algorithm. And then Mark Cuban's like, what's that? Then what the fuck am I buying? A brand name? He's like, the algorithm is why TikTok is as popular as it is. But China, how come you won't give us the algorithm? That's weird.
Well, of course,
especially because everything's above board. You guys don't fuck around at all. It's insane that they still come out with that talking point. The Washington Post did an investigation where the Chinese Communist Party had them fucking tracking journalists in the United States. That's not a conspiracy. That is true. So that's all you need to know.
No, I mean,
if they did it once, they could do it 1,000,000 times, and why would they not?
Then just ban it and don't sell it.
It is banned. It is banned. It's done.
Why not? Then don't sell it.
I guarantee they probably won't.
Yeah, so then they're just gonna walk away and come up with some other shit.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's another app in the App Store that's like a Chinese TikTok?
Yeah.
That people are downloading, and there's just getting flooded with comments from people in Chinese like, "Hey, thanks for letting us see America. Yeah. Oh, this is cool." And it's like,
did you know that TikTok doesn't exist? TikTok doesn't exist in China.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, no, we would never let our fucking youth on this shit. Are you fucking kidding me? But they have their version of TikTok, but it's fucking
educational.
Yeah, it's fucking math tutorials and Christopher Robin without Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
Because he's banned.
Yeah. Christopher Robin. What a weird fucking kid, dude. Somebody needs to get that guy under control. How old is Christopher Robin at this point? He's still talking to his fucking stuffed animals in the backyard and harassing that owl that lives in that tree. Coolest house ever, that owl that lives in the tree is cool as fuck. It had windows, bay windows with shutters. I was like, this owl, Eeyore literally lives in a shit pile box in the corner of the yard. This fucking owl's got white trim, bay windows, a skylight, full library, handing out life lessons. Fuck.
I saw this post meme shit on Facebook or something the other day, and it was a picture of Eeyore, and it was Eeyore was clinically depressed, and what did his friends do? They just continued to invite him to hang out. They never like questioned him like why he was always so sad. They just wanted to be around him. And that's what you should do. I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you saying like if my friend's clinically depressed, just pretend like
Just
it's not
come out,
happening?
man. Just come out. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Take another drink. It'll be fun.
I know.
You're
Like,
like,
what
what?
is this? Is like a motivational?
It's
I
like,
don't
nah,
even get
man. I
it.
just want to be alone.
Yeah.
Nah, man. You need to come with us.
Shout out Eeyore, dude.
Yeah, Eeyore's actually the
Sad
homie.
as fuck.
But he was like the most adult out of the group. He's like, I'm tired. They're like, let's do shit. He's like, bro, I'm tired as fuck. Get out of here. I'm sleeping and shit. I don't want to go to your party. So we all become Eeyore as we get older. That's like kind of what's fun. Well, not you. You're a wild boy. But don't say. I mean, if Elon Musk would buy it just to be like, and that'd be just.
He can't afford it, dude. He could barely afford Twitter. It was what, 44 billion, 54 billion? This shit's like 500 billion. He got the Saudis help him out with Twitter. You think he's gonna get the Saudis help him out? They don't even want to. The U.S. want to throw $500 billion on TikTok. China loves it because they can fucking like do their shit.
Do you think that the Saudi or people are just like annoyed with Elon, where maybe they invested in Twitter and now they wouldn't want to invest in TikTok? Do you think there's anybody who put money up to help him buy Twitter because there was a fuck ton of people because he didn't have it, and now they're like, I'm good. I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah, because Elon bought the influence. Like that's what Twitter gave him. You know, it's like he's getting the money from Tesla, from SpaceX, from Neuralink, whatever the fuck. Twitter, when he goes to another country, like the government of that country is talking to him differently now because he's the owner of fucking Twitter, and Twitter can bring a revolution in that country. Like, you know, when you're the CEO of Tesla, they don't give a fuck about electric cars. But when you've got a social platform that can spark an Arab Spring, now we're talking. And that's why he bought it. However, all the other people who invested with him, they haven't made any fucking money back, dude. Are you kidding me? It's like the amount of people that use Twitter is like at all-time fucking low. Nobody will advertise on it. Like, not profitable.
I wonder if he's also, that's partially why he wants this big payout from the Tesla shareholders. You know, that $140 billion or whatever the fuck they're trying to give him. I think maybe that's also why, so he can pay some people back.
Do you need like a specific reason of why you would want to get paid $100 billion?
No, but I mean that would help. Do you see what I'm saying though?
And he's not even trying hard. It's just the court said no, and then his lawyers had to go like make a case and appeal it. It's not like, you know.
I'm just saying if there's people that are back that
I don't even believe this is the first I ever heard that Elon's even in talks with it, and it's like.
I think he probably just interjected himself from his like Adrian Ditterman account and was like, "Ooh, man, I heard."
He called up the quant from the finance department in Tesla, who's like a Chinese American, and then pretended like he was having talks with the Chinese officials about buying ByteDance.
Like, I talked to a Chinaman today. You're like, "Whoa, you can't say that." What, Elon? Whoa.
He's like, "Yo, dude, this ketamine slaps."
You're not in Johannesburg anymore. You can't fucking talk like that. There's not razor wire around your fucking.
Oh yeah, but we didn't mention, your boy Steve Bannon just out here firing like bazookas at Elon. He called him evil. Said he was gonna end his relationship with the president before the inauguration. There's like we were talking about like the infighting between like Laura Loomer and Elon.
Yeah.
It's like Steve Bannon is pissed off, dude, because he was a senior advisor. He was in the White House until he got kicked the fuck out. The only difference is Elon's just got a lot more money.
Well,
pretty rich, but
that's what it is, though. It's the fucking money.
no shit. Yeah.
And Steve Bannon had a big platform with America First Network and all of that, but now Elon's got Twitter.
Exactly, it's crazy.
So he's just
I know, like Peter, like Steve, you're not even on Peter Thiel's level, and Peter Thiel's like fucking pissed about Elon swooping his spot.
Yeah, it's lame.
Like, not to mention JD fucking Vance.
It's like, oh, I didn't make the baseball team, so I'll just start my own and pay for everybody's bats and shoes. Hey, come play on my team since you can't be on, and you're a terrible baseball, but come play with me, guys.
Let me hit you with a devil's advocate. If I'm Elon, or I invested $250 million and got a 100x return and got 200 billion back. Go fuck yourself.
That's actually pretty good.
I know, thank you.
No,
I mean, the investment of the century so far. Elon's 250 million into 250 billion. Best investment maybe in the history of the world.
Debatable. The best.
Louisiana Purchase.
That was a good one. No, I think I've talked about it before. One of the best business deals was this ABA basketball team that sold, that got absorbed by the NBA, and when they got bought out, they basically were like, we don't really want any money up front. We just want a slice of the TV deals that you guys get from here till the infinity. And they were like, okay, this is played on a tape the 2 days after the game. Like, these fucking idiots. If you're not watching it live, you're not watching basketball. They paid those guys off within the past, like, 10, 15 years. And as they sold this shit in, like, the 70s, I think they'd paid them out. They'd paid, like, their investment to start this little, like, shitty hole-in-the-wall basketball team in, like, a YMCA gym. And I think when they paid these three guys off, they'd already made like well over hundreds of millions of dollars amongst them, and then they all got paid out like a big fucking fat check, like a what's it called, like a Dominion.
In 50 years, Elon made 200 billion in 50 days.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if you could sell something for $1,000, $1,500, and then walk away with your final payday when you've already been making money for 50 years. Then you have nothing to do with the NBA, and then you get the three of you get paid out.
It's a great deal. It's a
like
great
another
deal.
like $800 million. They paid him a lot of money to go away, because as the TV deals have gone up, that slice of the pie gets bigger and bigger, and like that number to where they were all like, what is it going to take to make y'all walk the fuck away? What do we have to pay you right now to never have to pay you again? It was not a small number, to where that's like considered one of the best business deals in the history of business, for just how much the return that they got, and that they didn't have to do any work.
50-cent vitamin water.
That's a good one.
Yeah. The vitamin water, when it first became a company, hired 50 to be a spokesperson, and he said, I don't want any money, I just want a piece of the company. And then they sold it to Coca-Cola for like some ridiculous amount of money. Was it like, actually I think it was like less than $1 billion. I think it was like 800 million.
No, I'm sorry, where is it? The Ozzy and Daniel Selena are businessmen of Latvian descent, known for their success in the textile business. Yeah, they owned the team out of St. Louis. In 1974, they wanted to own an NBA team. After the first attempt by the Pistons, they said no. They purchased the Carolina Cougars franchise. I mean, there's a whole Wikipedia page about it.
They got their own Wikipedia page? How do you... I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, they like about this deal.
I know, but it's like, I mean, come on. There's like the Wikipedia about everything.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this is pretty crazy. So they, in 19... Where does it say it was? The deal... The Colonels negotiated a $3.3 million or $17.7 million buyout from the remaining ABA teams. However, the Spirits held out for more. In 76, they merged. St. Louis owners got 2.2, a cash up front, an additional 1/7 share of each of the four remaining teams' TV revenue as long as the NBA or its successors continues in existence, in return for this team folding. So they got 1/7 of every single TV deal in existence from 76. This motherfucker died in 2016. Yeah, they were getting like almost $5 million a year, then $17 million a year. The Selena brothers had each received over $300 million in revenue as of 2014.
Like, just to give people an idea of what these TV deals are, NBC just picked up the NBA again, starting this year. $2.4 billion just for NBC's deal with the NBA. That's one channel.
1/7. That's a lot.
But that's over an 11-year agreement. So, but still.
In January,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because you still get it. Doesn't matter if it's 1 year or 11 years. Yeah, 1/7 of that, 300 mil by itself.
In 2014, a conditional settlement agreement between the NBA and the former ABA club's owners and the Salinas announced, as part of a deal, they would be receiving $500 million up front, or the equivalent of $644 million, payment for the former teams. In return, the ABA players would get a majority stake in this. Yeah. So basically, they had to pay them out almost like $750 million to make them go away after getting 1/7 of every single TV deal from '76 till they reached it in 2000.
That's like when your accountant has to sit you down and be like, I know this is gonna sound insane that you have to give these guys $600 million, but the alternative is give them infinite money. Just keep paying them forever.
And that's what they say is that's like one of the best deals ever, is because they were like, for as long as the NBA lives, we get 1/7 of the TV deals, and they were like, yeah, fuck you, idiots. We don't have to pay these guys like $3 million, which was like 11 to $17 million, like depending on what they got. So they took less up. They took $1 million less to make hundreds and hundreds of million. Like they each made. They basically both walked away billionaires for buying this shitty team. These two Latvian brothers bought a shitty team in a gym, held out for more money, and signed for TV deals. Like what Elon did is impressive, but buying a team for nothing in like 74 and turning it into $1 billion is a lot. That's crazy.
Would you believe me if I told you that this is the second time I was talking about Latvia this evening?
Yeah, I would, just because it's you.
The online poker site I used to play on, Bovada. It's bovada.lv. And I was talking to the guy next to me, and I was like, yeah, I think it's Las Vegas, but it's an offshore company. He goes, nah, it's not Las Vegas. I think it's like and then he looked it up, and it's Latvia.
Hustling. We haven't had a 2.5 hour long episode in a really long time.
I was channeling my inner Joey Bag of fucking Dennis Rogan, dude.
Well, we had some good conversations. If we end up with good therapy questions and good articles like we did today, we hold it down. But that was a good one.
Next time we'll be talking to you, Trump will be the president.
No.
I know, that's gross.
It's fine.
Well, to be honest, we don't know that. Because there's been 2 assassination attempts. Things come in threes. I think Biden should pardon the second guy and just let him cook for the next like 6 days.
Get out of here, dude. You're fucking stupid.
Pardon him, dude. You want to pardon some January 6th insurrectionists? I think we can pardon this dude.
I love that Michael Cohen's like, Joe, you gotta pardon me before you leave office. He's gonna be fucking coming for me.
It's like, I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think they?
No, because like, what is it? He spent all of his time like in these like petty like sham trials. Like, I thought he had like
No, well now he just gets some.
I thought he had like some like.
Be like the great grandson of Howard E. Hunt to go out there and fucking do some shit. Be like, this is for my great grandfather.
He had to go like piss in like the beans and toast of Keir Starmer over the UK, and then like, do you remember like, I don't know, this is random, we can go, when Trump was president the first time and he was in the meeting with like the G7 meeting, and all the fucking presidents of all the other countries were fucking mad at him, and he reached in his pocket and grabbed Starbursts out of it, and he throws them at Angela Merkel, the prime minister of Germany, and he goes, here, don't ever say I never gave you anything. Orange Starburst. Like a fucking psychopath.
I'm a weirdo.
Who gave him Starburst?
Loomer.
His dentures?
Loomer. She's like, after the over the pants handy, she's like, I left a couple Starbursts in your pocket.
Oh my god.
And he's like, perfect.
You know I like them more.
Are they orange?
Are they melting in my pocket?
They're orange and milky now, Donald. Well, make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys swinging by. 166, TikTok goes the clock.
We'll find out. We'll have a conclusion to this TikTok ban next week too.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out what happens. But no, we really appreciate it, you guys. Like I said, like, follow, subscribe, check us out, leave a comment, questions. We really appreciate it. It's crazy. We're closer to 200 than we are 100 at this point, which is fucking awesome. Somebody told me today, they're like, I love that you guys, and they watch us or listen to us occasionally, and they're like, I just love that you guys have stuck with it and how many you guys have actually done. Like your numbers, like, you know, when you were at 50, it was cool because you did 50, but they're like, damn, dude, like you're, you know, creeping on 200. That's a shit ton of episodes. That's a lot of time. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, we've done almost half a year's worth.
I mean, that was kind of like in the mission statement when we were starting with the podcast. Was like I felt like everyone's like, how many times have you heard everybody's got a podcast? I was like, yeah, everybody's ever told me that doesn't have one. First of all, second of all, I feel like everybody has a podcast, and 98% of them quit way too soon.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've got
Like, I'm not saying that it would have worked out. I'm saying like you have no idea if it would have worked out because you fucking quit like after 6 months or whatever the fuck. And so like I knew like if this was gonna work out at all, we're gonna have to just stick with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you know, you can't learn how to play the oboe if you don't fucking practice and suck at it for a bit. And you just got to stick with it. That's how you learn how to do something. And not that we're the best. You know, we have our faults and we...
I mean, if we're not the best, we're in the top 2. That's for fucking sure.
You know what I'm saying.
Joey bag of donuts. Oh, I didn't tell you about this. Spotify Wrapped has a Spotify Wrapped on our audience shit. It tells you the top 5 podcasts other than ours that our audience listens to. And Joe Rogan was number 1.
Of course it is.
And then the other 4 I had never heard of.
Of course it's the JRE, dude. Joe Rogan Experience.
The music genres, they do that too, that our audience listens to, is weird. Also, book genres, they did that too. Audiobooks, self-help.
Hey, okay. I don't know how to take that.
I think that's number 3.
I was like, I don't know how to take that. Hopefully we're helping, or maybe we need help. I'm not sure, but you know.
We're attracting people who are looking
who are looking for self-help. That's good. That's good. I like the lowly.
And going to Joe Rogan to find it.
Donald Trump likes the poorly educated. I like the poorly motivated. Let's go, bro. Let's get this goddamn bag. Fuck yeah.
Bro, if you're listening to audiobooks about self-help, are you poorly motivated or are you just rightly motivated?
It depends. Or you're just projecting. And you're just like, people are like, how are you doing? Like, I'm great. I'm listening to this Tony Robbins book, and he's teaching me so much.
Are you trying to say A.J. Brown reading, what was it? What was
Personal Excellence or something like that?
Oh, Inner Excellence.
Inner Excellence, yeah.
Yeah. Our receiver for the Eagles reading a self-help book called Inner Excellence on the fucking sideline during a playoff game.
Well, what's funny is they went back and he's like, dude, I do this all the time. And then there's like tons of pictures of him sitting there with that same book. And what's even funnier is that book's blown up on Amazon. So it's like one of the highest selling books right now on Amazon. And if you read the reviews, it's like, bought this book because AJ Brown was reading it. Like, they're like the funniest fucking comments, all Philadelphia Eagles related. It's pretty great.
Yeah, like when they're like showed that he had a book, I'm like, come on, bro, we get it. Like, and then when they showed what it was, I'm like, oh, actually, like that's something that I see myself doing.
And like he's kind of
like,
a fucking hothead as is, so if it's gonna sit there and like calm him the fuck down and make him
use some like inspirational
and
shit, like,
I don't know if you saw,
I didn't come this far.
He has tons of it
far.
like highlighted and stuff. There's like parts and passages that he reads during the game. Whatever. I mean, super crazy and super fucking cool. But hell yeah, if you need help, come find us. Where's your boys? 166 in the bag. Let them know what to do.
I'm gonna take pictures.
Y'all be good. Stay out of trouble. Stay safe. And as always, go fuck yourselves.
Shout out.
Recording stopped.
Get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need. Some more Man Huggie. Oh, Man Huggie. More Man Huggie. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.